Yeah, we're gonna do things a little differently today because just because OREF and whatnot, we're gonna be focusing on the website, and it's gonna be a lot of fun to dig into all this stuff today. So I'm gonna give a minute here for people to start rolling in. Um, you see, we
I
got
want a room.
Oh, just to warn you, I
yeah.
can't throw my links up just yet because I'm outside, but I will be inside shortly.
Okay, yeah, no rush in that. And we could run a room because I know that Legal Beagle has one set up for us already. Um, what is it? I don't know if that's the best route to go with this. In terms of just getting people to involved, just because I'm curious how everything's going to pan out when it comes to any sort of issues we run into today. There's a lot of demand for OREF, and there's a couple hiccups along the way too. So we're going to see how far we can get just with explaining the OREF, and then give something. I think a room for everyone to hop into early probably is the best idea though. I could grab the one that Legal Beagle sent already. I would like probably a more generic name for it rather than the Gnarly Studios one.
I will
But
make a new one.
yeah, that would be great. That'd be great. And we'll just
Um,
yeah.
so basically, what we do when we run events with the rooms, we put a link in the chat frequently, and that way people who are in mid journey listening will know where to go, and if they just have to have two windows open.
Perfect. Yeah, and I can always put like a password or something on the screen here, so if anyone doesn't see it or whatever, they can just know. Okay, the password for it is on. It's on the bottom of
Yeah,
the stream here.
put it with the link.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, so at this point, we're just gonna let folks roll in here for another minute or so. But I am also going to ping our server just to let everyone know that what's happening today, because I'm stoked to have this be not just the OREF release party stream, but it's also officially anyway the 2,000 member stream. We've broken 2,000 members on the Gnarly Studios server. So I'm going to
Yay!
yeah, I'm so excited about that to see such a big force of people all working together, making things, and just getting excited about what you can do with Mid Journeys. So I'm gonna send that out now. Um, in fact, I should probably include the comic that I made for today's stream. I did not get to the punchline, sadly. So I'm kind of in between whether I should include that or not in the update. Everything's just kind of happening last minute here, guys. I apologize, but you know what? I'm going to include the comic. Let's just do that. That way, at least people have it. Um,
He is. I think his streak is not good right now.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking to my son.
Oh,
I
it's all
didn't realize I was on mic.
good. You're all good. You're all good. Um, let's see here. Uh, yeah, I'm going to say that we're going to finish this comic during the stream because I was not able to get the punchline done in time.
Oh
But
no.
yeah, I know. Because of the hangups with OREF and whatnot. I made progress, but I didn't get the actual comic completed. But let's go ahead and send that out. I'll just say it's the first
That's
two
an
pages.
anti-spoiler.
Exactly. I'm going to say I've created the first song. Sorry, guys. I'm just reading this out for myself. Make sure I get no spelling errors. Uh, we're gonna finish it during stream. Okay. I'm just gonna send that. And now everyone's been pinged. Awesome. Okay, that was the last little bit of setup for today's stream. Thank you guys so much for joining. I am so excited about what we are going to be doing today because we're demoing omnireferencing as well as showing off the linear storytelling capability that we now have, thanks to omni-referencing. Because we're not limited to just characters anymore when it comes to referencing, including the combination of style referencing. We're able to basically jump panel to panel and tell stories in a linear way. So inside of our server, the Gnarly Studios server, I have included the first 2 pages, but I'm going to include all 3 pages inside of VC text. So just to explain anything for people who are new here, there are various channels on the Midjourney server, but just above the stage, you'll find VC text. That's where you guys will be chatting with us today. And we're going to be creating a room that everyone will be able to participate in instead of using VC Create. It just because we want to be able to see what everyone's doing and interact with those prompts with a little more detail than we had on the Discord bot right now. There's 1 or 2 issues I had with inpainting, transferring between version 7 to version 6. So I think this is going to be a better route to do this. So I am going to include pages 1, 2, and 3 on VC text for you guys. So let's go ahead and put that up. So 1 and a 2 and 3. And then new comic. It's just missing the punchline. Okay, awesome. All right, everything has been updated at this point. So let's see who we got here in the stream. Oh wow, we got a whole bunch of folks here. This is awesome. Oh my god. There's too many people for me to read. Hi guys, thank you all so much for coming. For anyone here who's a regular, I really do appreciate your all's dedication to join. I'm joined here with Rhapsody, as well as Ancient and Kinky. So we're full team in this one today. And let's see, we got a room good to go. You're welcome to join it. Our Rhapsody has set it up here. So let me go ahead and very quickly, make a new window for that, and add that to the stream. So, it says rooms are currently okay. It said unsupported on mobile, and then I had to widen the window out for it to not be mobile. Okay. So let's see here. I widen that up, and the password is let's actually get that on screen first before we do that, because I want you guys to see what this process looks like here. I will add a source and window capture, set up a new setup, and say that this is the OREF room. And now I'll just grab it from Chrome. Let's see. There we go. Haha, there it is. Awesome. Okay, so I'll just set this up to be the right size. Doing it live, guys. We're doing it live. Pulling a Bill O'Reilly. There we go. Awesome. Okay, so if you click the link that's been provided by both Kinky and Rhapsody here, you'll find it here. It says join the room to prompt with us. So just type OREF into this link here, and it will give you a collaborative version of Midjourney that you can join and prompt stuff with us. We're going to be exploring the new omni-referencing tool. And at least when it comes to the way I like to do storytelling, I tend to find really inspirational moments and then build on those. So because of omni-referencing, we can do that in a linear way. So feel free to show off all your cool OREF prompts that you all have made. You can either prompt a new one here, or you can use /show to bring it into the room here. I believe. I'm not 100% experienced with rooms. So like, is that right? Can I just do /show here, or is this just a prompting window down here?
I haven't tried that.
Just a prompting.
Just prompting. Okay. All good. So let's check.
I've never but there's a chance, I guess, but probably not.
Yeah, all good.
I'm just gonna try it.
I
Oh,
could I could
it
see.
just failed.
Yeah, yeah, it's all good. It probably sees that slash in the front and goes, nope. So I'm currently working on the tutorial for the actual comic that was posted onto VC Text here. And the way that this thing works is at least in my experience is that you find those really great initial panels and then you build on top of them by using them as style references combined with omni references. So if you need to pull a character from a previous panel, you use omni reference. If you just want to kind of keep the vibe or aesthetic of that, that scene, then you use style reference, and you want to kind of combine both of those in order to create the final comic here. So just to demo that also, because I do want to open that up for you guys so you can see. um, I'll open this panel up here. So this is the first panel of the comic, and it features two characters that were created by our fans on the Gnarly Studios server. This is the debut of a character named Brecky, which is what I call breakfast for my dogs. By the way, I didn't make up the name. I just fell in love with the name from one of you guys that made it, and then this is her interacting with another character who's actually a long established character within the fantasy series we're working on now, which is Fungalmancer. So he's a sloth that eats mushrooms that are on the top of his head and all that kind of
Oh,
stuff. I love this character so much. But Brecky, I just fell in love with working with Brecky. She is an amazing. She just is very reliable. The only thing you have to add to the Omni reference, in my opinion, is green hair, and then she's super reliable. And so with the first page, she approaches these mushrooms. I figured she was foraging, and then she finds the giant sloth, and it's like, whoa, hello, just nervously approaching this thing that's not moving. And then on the second page, she begins to approach Fungalmancer, and he lowers his head, and he's like, "Hello," and she just spooks her real good. I might add some motion lines between her legs, like she's kicking, like it just to jump her in the air really good. And then the third page here, we are going to add a fourth page, but the third page here is her saying, "Don't eat me." And then she runs away screaming, and he's just too slow to respond and saying, "No, I'm." And then we'll work on the punchline here during the stream. So I don't know if for the long time people who've been here for a while, this is nuts. This is just bonkers that I made this in 3 hours. Like, come on. You know what I mean? Like, this is ridiculous. It takes almost no time to make stories now with omni-referencing because we're able to dynamically pull stuff from the comics. And I did do some improvements on the imagery as well, particularly color correction of certain parts of Brecky. She had like a tan shirt at times, her leggings turned black at points, and in my tutorial that I'm finishing up right now, you'll be able to see all those like small edits that I did, as well as gain access to the Photoshop file. And so I'm just so excited to introduce Brecky to you guys, and just being able to demo omni referencing. So we have 60 people here. That's nuts. Thank you all so much for joining, and you're more than welcome to invite your friends and family and whatnot. They do not need a Midjourney account to watch. They only need a Midjourney account to participate. So, okay. We've gone through the comic now. I'm going to show you guys the basic steps of how I set that up, and I can see Brecky's already being referenced here by Snoopy with version 6.1, and I know it's 6.1 because of just how many character references are inside of Brecky by default. I ended up only using a single picture of Brecky to actually create her. So let me show you guys that entire process really quick. And now it's very easy to do time lapses with Midjourney. We can do them in real time thanks to the website. So I'm gonna first mute this while you guys are working on in the room there. And only thing I'm gonna do is go to organize inside of my Midjourney account, and you guys are gonna be able to rewind with me and see this process. You could see I was exploring Brecky at first inside of the potion shop from Rhapsody's character Roxy here, and I had a lot of fun just exploring. But it also I needed to emphasize that she's a younger girl, right? So like if she's I'm just gonna say this is her a little older, but as I was exploring this, I realized that if I was combining the mood boards that we are very familiar with version 6.1, it creates some interesting like really scaled rooms with the Phantasma world builder, but it isn't the exact aesthetic that we had before. It does make some really cool stuff, but it just didn't really feel like I had the control that I had before. So instead, the way that I emphasized this was using style references. So the first thing I did here was take this image of Brecky. This is the one that I used for the start of the comic. I just needed to get her foraging for mushrooms. That's all I was intending to do at the beginning. Was just to get this initial image of her. And so you could see that I have a couple different runs here, and then I found this one. And I was like, oh my god, okay, this is great. I just need to in-paint the tiny frogs away. And the reason why those frogs show up is because of the speech bubble that's inside of this Omni reference. So otherwise, there's no style references, no other anything else attached to this. It just says, on a quest looking for mushrooms in a dense forest, we see the spires of a distant castle in the background. Animated fantasy film. And that's it. That's the entire prompt. That gave me this initial result. There are some minor errors that I ended up correcting in Photoshop as I was building this comic. You could see her hand has a really long index finger. But outside of that and removing the frogs, this image is almost as is when it came to what Midjourney outputted. So at this point, you could see I just kept, like, it was my favorite out of the results that I had, but I also had this result, and I realized that this could be a great over-the-shoulder reference that I can use later. So I saved this and did some in-painting on this later on as well. So okay, we've found our initial starting panel here, and you can see I always end up re-rolling or rerunning the same prompts a couple times if I find something cool. I really like her bag full of mushrooms here. That is just awesome. But because this could easily be the starting panelist, but I would have to go back and add this bag or have her putting down the bag at some point. So I decided to continue on here. So this is the result after the first in-paint of removing the frogs that were scattered on the ground. And the thing is about this is that when I did this in-paint here, every time you guys are going to be using in-paint, it doesn't use version 7, it uses 6.1. And so if you run into any issues like your prompt disappearing or you get a weird bug or anything like that related to like the value of your character references, that's largely because there's transferring between version 7 and version 6 has different parameters. So we will get into those little nitpicky things here in a minute. So after I had this though, I expanded out to a 16:9 panel. I'm getting in the habit of making 16:9 panels because of AI video. I fully expect to animate this with various different, probably Kling, but also Pika Labs. And so we will see a animated story here probably at some point this weekend. So as I was moving on with the story here, the only thing I did was use that image, the wide 16:9 version that I upscaled. I used that as a style reference, and then with version 7, I wrote a new prompt. I said, an ancient sloth awakens in the forest. Mushrooms grow on its back as the giant sloth awakens. You'll notice that I'm being redundant. With version 7, it actually helps quite a lot to be redundant or to not necessarily speak full like proper English. Like you just really want to emphasize the points that you really want to see inside of your results. So I tend to find myself rewriting words sometimes in order to really push what I'm looking for. So you can see out of these 4 results that I had here, this just stuck out to me. I was like, oh, Yes, Fungalmancer. He's in his sunbeam. He's enjoying. He's letting the mushrooms grow on him. You know, that kind of thing. I love this panel so much. It looks so good. And so I was like, okay, that's it. That's the panel. That's what I'm gonna go with. And so I took this, and then I expanded using the editor to bring Brecky into the shot. So the way that we do that is we find the panel we want to use, we go to edit, and when you do this, you're actually going to run into an issue almost immediately, which is that character referencing doesn't exist for version 7, and if you try to use the editor with omni-referencing, it will not work. You cannot pan, you cannot zoom, you cannot. There's a lot of limitations to what you can do with the editor and omni-referencing. So this is how you can insert your character into a omni-reference shot like this. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to expand the canvas, and then we switch over from version 7 to version 6.1. Inside of the UI here. It's important to do it in the UI with the current version of the UI here. So let's just make sure we switch to 6.1, and then we have to also write 6.1 up here. And lastly, we have to include our character reference. So let's grab a character from the Gnarly Studios server really quick. I'm going to grab someone different from Brecky so I could show you guys what this process looks like. Let's see here. I will open up a new window here and copy the character portal. You'll find links to the Gnarly Studios server inside of the VC text chat shared by Kinky and Rhapsody. It is a great way to collaborate and make things together because we have a place for it. We have a place where you can deposit new characters and see other users making things with those characters. So here is the character portal on the Gnarly Studios server. You'll find it just by scrolling down on our channels and finding character portal. And of course, Brecky is currently number 1. You guys are already going ham with Brecky and having a lot of fun with her. But there's all sorts of characters in here, and we've had a lot of luck with Junctor when it comes to omni-referencing. Been seeing some really great stuff from you guys with him, or it. But let's actually get Autumn Starlight in here. I think Autumn might be a really fun one to do, and this one's from Tanner. And you can see the character portal allows people to iterate and make stuff with your character, and you get updated every time someone posts something inside of your character portal. So it's like waking up and someone has made a comic for you, or someone has made a video for you, that kind of thing. It's so fun. I really love it. It's happened a couple of times that I've talked to Rhapsody about this, to where like she'll be like, I just wake up and there's like a whole 4-page narrative just ready for me to read.
Yeah. it's so amazing. I mean, yeah, it's something you need to experience. If you create your own character and post it, you will be very happy what happens.
Yeah.
And also everybody is very respectful, is doing like the good stuff with your characters usually.
Yeah, you really
to the description.
Exactly. It's super important for us to just basically be like, make a new character if you want to divert from whatever's written inside of the character portal. People have, they have goals. They want their character to be a hero or a villain or whatever they want to do. Try to respect those rules. But if you want to make like an evil version of something, just do it. Like just make a new character portal entry as opposed to like trying to, steer a character in a different direction than the intention. So what we're gonna do though, yes. Do you have anything to add to that, Rhapsody?
Oh no, I just wanted to say I think it would be a good idea if we would start with talking a little bit general about OREF and how it's been used before we jump into comic creation stuff.
Perfect. Yeah, yes, go ahead.
Just because you started excited again, I'd assume that everybody here knows. I mean, I guess most people do. But omni-reference is a new type of referencing that Midjourney released yesterday, and it's called omni-reference because we showed a lot of characters. It can not only do characters, it can do so much more. You can reference items, you can reference cities, buildings, I've tried a lot of different buildings and environments, and I was able to reliably get a second shot of a city, for example, from a different perspective. So it's really, really powerful, but it also works a little bit differently than the referencing that we had before, because all references previously allowed you to mix multiple images. OREF only allows you to input one image, and it's also kind of required to also, well, add your prompt to it and describe what you actually want to reference. And you will also notice when you're using OmniReference that it's trying to reference a lot of things from your images, and you will need the prompt reinforcement to really get the best out of it. In addition to just adding an image and calling it OREF, there's also a weight parameter, like character weight, CW, for example, which went from 0 to 100. We have OW now, which goes from 0 to 1,000. And I think, 100 is the default value. If you're going above 400, it gets really, really strong. In some situations, you might want that. In others, and especially when it comes down to anime or to cartoon stuff, I personally find that, something between 100 and 400 works really, really good. But you can also go lower and therefore give up more of the control from the reference if you think you're referencing things that you don't want to. And maybe the last thing I'm going to say up front before everything is shown and displayed is, because you only have one image, it's also really important to craft the correct reference for your OmniReference. So that's an additional step that we had kind of before when we were creating like character reference sheets. But for example, if I post a character reference sheet as an OREF right now, and there's like 5 versions of the same character on that sheet, it's going to try to generate an image where you have multiple characters on it. And therefore, referencing with correct images is preferred, but it can also do a lot of amazing stuff. And I think that's now the point where I give it back to Victor.
Yeah. And I guess one of the key things is that, like, if you are seeing results inside of your basically, like, if you see here, this is, I'm going to have to be reminded the name of this character. It's from the Junk Tour series. But with her here, her reference includes a white background. So if you do not describe the background inside of your prompt, you will most likely get a white background for the character. So with this one, the prompt is she is hitting a baseball bat against a shipping container in a sci-fi scrapyard, and so the actual hitting of the bat is the only thing that's not represented here. But if you notice inside of this prompt, there is a style reference that has been included, and that is super key to really retain the visual aesthetic of whatever you're trying to tell here, in order to make it so that from beginning to end everything is consistent. So I'm loving these results from Gompasta, though. They're looking so good. I really want to see you explore that character, because it's, especially with her sitting on on the junk, right up there. Let's see, this one right here. This result right here blows my mind. I mean, you were able to recontextualize this character significantly from its OmniReference here. With character referencing, this would have been a lot harder because character referencing is very literal from version 6.1. She would have been almost in this pose at 100% value. It very much looks at the image and will try to basically shove that pose into it unless you lower the character weight. But now with OmniReferencing, we don't need to do that. We could just overly describe what we want, and it just makes it work. Like that's just nuts. And so if we wanted to say, include this scene and expand on it in order to continue, like say we wanted this character to talk to somebody else in this scene, right? Then why don't we just take this result and let's see, I'll copy the image URL and I will paste it into the prompt bar down here, and I'm going to use it as a style reference, and then I'll say, let's just say that let's see, we'll call this because it says in the sci-fi junk scrapyard. So let's say that she is, because I don't see the baseball bat or anything. I think that's from the previous prompt. It's this prompt over here. Okay, cool. Yes. So she is sitting on the top of a tower of shipping containers looking over a sci-fi scrapyard of plastic scrap and debris, spaceship graveyard. So I'm going to say that there is a robot with a red cape. Robot with a red cape, speaking with a short-haired brunette woman in a white tank top. Okay, scrapyard, graveyard, let's go with that. And we need to set the aspect ratio. So I'll say --AR 16:9. And I'm not going to worry about including junk tour just yet. I just want to see what sort of results I get off of this prompt here. And then to kind of jump back to what I was doing earlier here, just to, while that's running here, we'll scroll all the way down so we can see when that comes up, and also check out Ural's previous results. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm in turbo mode, so this is going to go real fast. We'll finish this explainer here. So you'll notice that even though I did not include either an Omni reference for her or Junk Tour here, the other character, we were able to immediately recontextualize the scene to feature these characters speaking with each other, as at least as like a bit of a generic puppet of that. So if we wanted to extend this scene, like basically to have her still speaking or sitting down, we could use it as an Omni reference instead. So let's just go ahead and grab this stuff. So we'll go ahead and hit this prompt, this style reference here. We'll drag that down to the bar. There we go. Hit it as a style, an Omni reference this time. And you'll notice now that we have a slider for Omni reference weight. You click this slider and you're able to adjust the value of it. Rhapsody was saying that between 100 to 400 is solid for anime stuff, but there's all sorts of like basically experiment all the way up to 1,000, but know that if you go over 500, you tend to get into the wacky zone. It's a little different than how other tools we've used before. So you go ahead.
It's also a balancing act. Like V7 has a lot of very strong opinions, right? It does have a very strong stylized value. Kind of also image blending is very strong. It tries to follow your prompt to the maximum, and to balance all of these things is a different ballpark than it was in V6. So if you're working with high stylized values and high referencing values for other things, and also large prompts, then you might even need to go into the strong sections, into the bigger values for Omni reference.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and this is where the experimentation really, especially since this is all new for us too, guys. Like, in terms of this kind of rolling out to everybody, everything feels fresh to us. We are experimenting almost just as much as you guys are with this. So, if I make any mistakes and stuff, I'm excited to fix them for you live so that you can see how I address any problems and stuff. But let's go ahead and start with a strength of 250. That's what I used for the sample comic. In order to pull this scene and try to recontextualize or add a robot to it. So we're going to use it as an Omni reference this time at 250, and then just hit submit. We're going to see what that does. It's almost guaranteed to put her in the scene. We could redirect her as well in this shot. We could have her standing up. It's really whatever we want to do. But outside of not including an aspect ratio, it's just going to make the results square here. It should be pretty interesting what we get back. So we'll let that run here. And you guys are more than welcome to expand on any one of these results. and let us see what you guys get into, because like you could see that there's just already some really cool art styles that you guys are exploring using this stuff, and I see plenty of Brecky, much older Brecky, but yes, I see her there. She's foraging for eggs now, I guess. But let's go ahead and see what the results are for this. This is gonna be good. Let's go ahead and see. We're at 63%. You can already see where we are able to, take these shots and recontextualize them to basically tell the story that we want. I'm going with very generic prompts right now. I haven't given any direction on the story. I'm just saying, hey, let's introduce another character and maybe get the robot in there. So let's see here. The robot with a red cape is what I'm leaning on to kind of in-paint Jugtor later, but we're at 94% on these. Ooh, yes, this is what I'm looking for, is a nice two-shot with a robot head of some sort. This is gonna be good. Okay, so look at this. Okay, so we have this two-shot now. When the previous shot was this one, right? She could be talking to him, and then she gets like upset with something he said, and it's just like, where did all the people go? And the robot's like, I don't know, that kind of thing. So we need to get Junctor in here, and using the same method that I was getting into with the comic here, let's just get him in. We'll go ahead and jump to Junctor inside of the character portal here, and get him. So here he is. Boop. Click on Junctor. And if you go to the top of the the top of the portal entry, you'll find the submission of references. They are oftentimes character references, so you're going to see like a bunch of character sheets like this. You can pull an individual pose from this sheet, or rather just generate a new reference with version 6.1 and then use that. So we're going to just pull one of these images and go from there. I think they're in the order of the character sheet here, and the one that seems to match the most is probably going to be the second or the third image, because he's not looking at camera, right? We don't have to match the pose, but it will help. So let's go ahead and see. I think it's going to be the third image on this list. Let's look at the others here. There, okay. So this one works, but it doesn't really describe the robot head very well. Like, it won't really understand, in my opinion, the head here. So let's go ahead and go with this one, just to get us a reference that works. So I'm gonna hit no, we'll go for the over the shoulder. I think this is gonna be fine. Copy image address, and then we are going to hit edit. And this is where we run into the issue of version 6.1 conflicting with version 7, because omnireferencing doesn't work with version 6.1. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of our omnireference. We are going to switch the settings to 6.1. And then we are going to get rid of the parameter here entirely. And then paste our Junctor reference here. We're going to slide this over to character referencing, and you're going to get an error if you try to submit it as is. This is a bug in my experience. We need to actually write the character weight into here. So I'm first going to do the inpainting. First, let's get rid of the character here. There we go. We have a little bit of the back of a robot head, and I want to preserve that. So let's go ahead and just select everything that isn't a robot. So like the hair and stuff up here. We're going to select the neck. And this is pretty good. I think this will work. But the thing is, if I hit submit on this right now, you're going to see an error. And that is because that error it's trying to force the weight of the omnireference onto the character weight here. I've reported this already. But in order to fix this, it's really easy. You just rewrite 250 or whatever your value for the omnireference was, switch this to 100, and then it's going to work. And you'll see here that if I now zoom out of this, I think, let's see here. Where is my yeah, there's some, let me see where the results are here. I think I need to zoom in. No, it's not letting me zoom in and out. Hold on a second. I will just pull this out like this. Okay. There you go. You're going to cover me up for a second to show this, but you'll notice that this one errored out because it had the omni weight was applied to the character reference. So now we have the character reference result here. So we probably need to describe the robot a little bit as being a one-eyed or a cycloptic robot. But it's really good so far. We've gotten rid of all the human elements right off the bat. And if we wanted to direct this even more, we could say like the robot is pointing up into the sky or something to match her eye line that's here. But for this, just to keep us moving on this, let's go ahead and pick one where the robot's arm is pretty obviously extended out. So I'm going to go with this one. And we're going to get rid of this little horn on his head and just repeat that in-painting process one more time. And maybe we can even direct him a little bit by lowering the character weight to something like 80. And then say robot with a red cape pointing up at the sky, or pointing with left hand up into the sky. And I don't really need the rest of this prompt just because we are only focusing on the robot right now. And I'm going to make sure I in-paint enough to where it believably would work to change his pose, including the shadows on the shoulder, because this is something that a lot of people miss when doing in painting, is they don't consider the shadows or what needs to change into the pose that they want. So we need to take into account the shoulder and the shadows that is on this cape here. So I think this is pretty good. And now we can just go ahead and hit submit on this. The reason I switched the character weight to 80 is just to give us a little more flexibility on this character design. And so that's how you swap between version 7 and version 6 in order to use the complete tool set that Midjourney provides. Since version 7 doesn't include in-painting yet. You just need to it'll automatically downstep you to version 6.1 if you start in-painting. So let's see if we get the hand pointing up at all. If not, then we would have to create a version of it, of Junctor with his hand up in the air, and then use that as the character reference. I think we'll be fine, though. I think we'll probably find one that works here. So let's see. It started to do it here, but I think I might have crunched the area a little too much here. So let's try to get all this selected here, and then we'll lower the character weight even more to 60, and then we'll get back to omni-referencing.
Yeah. Is there a specific reason why you don't select the white bars also at this moment?
Because otherwise we're going to see Junctor potentially filling those areas, because he's the character reference. So if I wanted to do additional panels and stuff, I could definitely push for more Junctor to show up inside of this shot by including that. But it is true that there's a good chance that we would get her to have robot legs, for example, if I were to in-paint with a character reference of Junctor down here. But having more areas selected definitely helped out to create the rest of his arm here. So I like this a lot. It definitely did some funky stuff with the red coloring here, but I'm going to move on this one and just say all right, this is pretty decent. We basically need to say, all right, we have the robot arm here. We can now turn off the character referencing in order to try to fill in with just the logic of a robot hand instead of the character reference. So I'm going to get rid of this and delete the character weight entirely. And the prompt still says that the robot is pointing up into the sky. And we should be able to see at least that better represented by turning off the character reference entirely. Which will basically allow the prompt to fully adhere to without constraints of whatever's in the character reference. And that's how I did the comic. I basically just downstepped to version 6.1 when I wanted to introduce characters and whenever we were in painting. This is relevant for omni-referencing, especially because of people are going to get frustrated with the fact that they can't in-paint with omni-referencing, and this is a really great workaround for that. So let's just let this finish here, and then we'll go back into omni-referencing. and see all the cool stuff that you guys have been making. Oh, we got some people in the background here. Okay. All right. We didn't get what I was aiming for. We're probably going to apply some chaos to that, but I need to move on. This is already a good start, but we can apply chaos and do other things to kind of force this composition to change. I'm not going to stick on this though for now. Is there anything that you wanted to get into, or we can actually let's check out the chat. I think we should check out the chat and see what everyone else is saying here. And let's see, we got Gompasta saying Junctor will be a great before and after CREF or OREF. Yeah, I agree. This is an interesting development. Literally impossible in CREF to get your character to go upside down, and that is certainly true. Doing handstands or yoga poses or anything like that, especially flipping your character upside down, what is super hard to do with character referencing. You would have to basically make a generic puppet of that character and then start in-painting detail by detail to get it right. Omni-reference knocks it out in one of the first results. That's amazing. Especially since you're combining style referencing as well. It's just awesome. It's just amazing what you can do with it. It's still sticking at 33% for you. I'm sorry to see that. I did have that earlier today. It is one of those things where it will eventually work. If you're stuck at 33%, it's probably because of the demand of omni-referencing right now is pretty high. And it's being addressed. So just stick around.
If you reuse the prompt, it sometimes will start and go through faster than if you waited for the other one.
Yeah. Nice.
What I just had happen.
What I would suggest, at least if you are not being completely blocked by your rate limit.
Yeah.
So at this point, let's see if we have any other notes here. I live in the wacky zone. Yes, that is certainly true, Kinky. We all do. We all live in the wacky zone at this moment. But let's see here. I wanted to while we're waiting for some other renders to happen here, because we have the room open for you guys to check out. We just have to back out of this here. It's kind of covering my face again. There we go. All right, that shrinked it down enough to where it's not going to collapse it and turn it in mobile mode. Let's see. Boop. There we go. And now I will go back to our room. How did I do that? How do I go back to the room?
Maybe if you don't have it open anymore, you can go to chat, to the chat icon on the left, or you can just click the link again.
Got it. Chat. Got it. Perfect. All right. So
I'm in the newbies room now.
I'm sorry?
Go back to lobby. You're in the newbies room now.
Okay. All right. So go back to lobby. And then OREF release party. If you've joined the room, it shows up on the list here. So this is awesome. So I'll be very curious to see how you guys get Jugtor to talk to can you remind me her name really quick? I see there's a chat here as well.
Her name is Vio.
Vio, thank you so much. Getting Vio and Jugtor to have a scene together is that's what I want to see. If I'm going to give you guys a goal, it's that, because we're going to be able. Ooh, look at Roxy in the junkyard. Oh, that's awesome. That looks amazing.
I basically re-rolled Compasta's image as an image reference with Roxy as an OREF.
Right. So this is the style reference. This is the image prompt, and you're using an image prompt to force the composition to match this one. Like basically, like, oh, I want to have a low angle shot kind of thing. Like this is going to do that great. It's going to. Go ahead.
I reduced the strength to 0.3 so that it isn't too strong. I just wanted to get the general vibe.
Right. And that's how you preserve the compositions without it affecting your characters as much too. And then you have your character reference here. Is this an Omni reference? Because it uses the same icons, so I'm assuming that it's an Omni reference, but this is the reference here.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, awesome. And so by combining the three, you're able to really, really retain the scene and throw characters into these moments. Oh, look at this. Jugtor shooting lasers. That's awesome.
What I love, if you go back to my Roxy image, what I love about OREF in this, if you look at her hat, like the buckle there and the little red thingies, which are actually micro potions. That is something that CREF in version 6 or in Niti was never able to replicate. If you look at my reference, you see the little potions on her head. In OREF, it's not a problem. It's actually quite fond of taking these little potions and putting them there.
That's awesome. Oh man, the amount of detail and control you're getting off of OmniReference is just absurd. You know, like and especially being able to like preserve the art style of whatever you're going for as soon as you're combining with style reference. Oh, it's just great. I really like seeing you guys immediately being able to hop into omni-referencing with your characters. And look at her. The VO is falling. Like this could be her arriving at this, you know, junkyard space or anything like that. Or she tripped and fell, and Junctor reaches for her leg and grabs it. That's what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing a savior moment, a hero moment from Junctor, from her falling. I would definitely in-paint her face to be like properly spooked, right? But that's awesome. You could see that these were results from Nixie13, and this one is just using the Omni reference. Is it set to, what's the value set for this? Because I don't see a value. It's probably whatever the default is at 100. If you were to increase this number, you would probably get her outfit to match a little closer and stuff like that. Because right now it's blending in some of the at least in my opinion, what's happening here is some of the background color is being affected with her shirt and stuff. And I had that with the comic that I was making too, where Fungalmancer, the sloth character, was influencing Brecky's shirt design and stuff like that. So this is awesome, guys. I love seeing this. It'll be super fun to get into sci-fi stuff. This is just great. I could see, you know, like those giant earth mover trucks that they use at like coal mines and stuff like that, the insanely big trucks. This is like a destroyed version of that, where she's walking in underneath the axle between the two tires of it. That's the first thing I see with this. And you could easily just, you know, go to editor and make that. Oh, we're getting errors. Look at this. I'm gonna back out of this real quick. Back.
I don't know if you know about this one, but do you know that if you bring your image into the editor from OREF, right, and then take out the image and take away the OREF level, you can edit it right there as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like,
oh, it's doing that again.
If you're not trying to change the face or anything.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Did you know that it couldn't find your image?
Yeah, right? It's really letting me know that I couldn't find the image. If you do run into this issue, if there's any kind of bugs or anything related to that, you can use the external editor, which is what version 7 actually uses when you do switch over for the editor. So you just right-click the image, hit copy image URL, go to edit, and then what we can do is we can just we have to hit new here first. There we go. Edit new image, and then just paste the URL for that image, and boom, you will be able to now use the external editor to create this scene. So if I wanted to include the giant tires, it's just not going to be in the shared room that we're all in, right? But I can easily come into here, in-paint the this little, like, some of the background destruction here, just to get us a little less of it floating in the air, and say that these are she is underneath the giant tires of a truck, of a supermassive truck. And if we wanted to preserve more of this art style that's in here, we could use a style reference. We could start to incorporate maybe even image prompts of this perspective, right? Like a low angle view, whatever. But I can start to add all of that as well into the description of this. So like I want to say that this is a low angle shot. And if we wanted to go even farther than that, we could say that there's maybe something that she's looking at here, because right now her eye line is looking dead at camera. If her eye line was slightly to the left, I would probably put like Junctor's head or something like that here. But let's just say that this is what the scene is: a low angle shot. She is underneath the giant tires of a supermassive truck. Let's just say the giant axle of a supermassive truck between the tires. So she is underneath. Let's just say she is between two giant tires and underneath the giant axle of the supermassive truck. I'm going to hit submit on this. And you can use Niji, you can use all sorts of version 6.1 parameters doing this method of where you take your shot and you know, going from version 7 to version 6. But that's how you get around any sort of bugs for now related to putting or editing the images that you get from omnireferencing. Hey, Lolo Soon, good to have you here. And I'm excited to see you deep diving into this too, because we're going to be getting into some comic stuff later today. But you could see it didn't really understand the tires for oh, it did. It got it here. That's awesome. So now we just need to put some ground or something over here. I won't get into all that, but I wanted to show you what all that is here. But we got the tires. We just need to actually put an axle in here, and then she'll be underneath the truck. So boom, there you go. I'll hit submit, but I'm gonna immediately hop ourselves out of this. Go back to chat. And inside of chat, you hit lobby and then OREF release party. If you do not have access to this room, it's very easy. You'll find links for it inside of VC Text. VC Text is just above the stage here. And we highly encourage you guys to use the rooms. Just today with especially when it comes to inpainting off of these results, it's just going to be a lot easier for you guys inside of the Midjourney website as opposed to the Discord bot. So the other thing that I kind of have hidden from you guys here actually is that underneath this chat, I have a second instance of Midjourney. So if you notice here, there's a second instance that I have hidden here. And this is in case I need to dig through my history in order to grab prompts or images from the past that I have made. So I do have a second instance of Midjourney open just in case I need to have basically a reference to hop back to. But I do want to show you guys the final kind of time lapse of making this stuff, and then we'll check out all the cool omnireference stuff that you guys do. Oh my god, there's lasers. Okay, all right. Let me first do this though. We'll go to organize, and then I will go to the start of the comic itself here. That was right here, and now I'm just going to hold up arrow on my keyboard, and you guys will see the time lapse very quickly, and you can see just how short this time lapse is. Oop. And I'm already done. So it takes almost no time to make a full length or a linear story with omnireferencing, and it just comes down to making sure that you have the previous panel that the story started with as your style reference. That's how I made this. So, okay. Let's go open up the room here and check out all the cool stuff you guys are doing. We got VO DJing at a nightclub. Look at how it's able to recontextualize her, add headphones. Oh my god, this is amazing. And you have the omnireference set to 300.
Yeah, this is really good. Her reference also seems to be a very good one. I've noticed over the last 24 hours, sadly, that OREF can be very picky about your reference image. So some references, even if it's from the same character, work better than others. And views here just seems to be super dynamic and well understood by OREF.
Yeah. It is certainly true that if an image doesn't work, it's easier just to swap the reference image than to fight with it. It's so easy to reroll stuff now, right? To get a new reference image, it's so much faster to do it that way. Don't get too married to your reference image. What is going on here? This is from Shigawire 3D. A view from behind the Flurp creature in an image as it walks across the cosmic desert of dreams. Space whales with the thin film interference skin in the background in the style of Mobius. A lot of those words are whoa. Yeah, you're in that you're in the funky town zone. Wow, this is intense. But the referencing that's going on here with such a low weight here, it's definitely going to be far more expressionist than just in general be like a loose inspiration. Are you guys going the Fooly Cooly route with the Vespa here? Because this is awesome. This is from Sepultello and working with Rhapsody's Roxy character. So
I love it.
look at that! Look at that!
Oh, this is good.
This is so good. And if you notice here, it even tried to make the Vespa logo on there. Okay. If she's a witch, like if this is a witch, and she rides around, like flies around, not on a broom, but on just a legit Vespa, I think that's hilarious. Yeah. Like it's
10 out of 10.
It works like a broom, right? It's like that comic that I keep seeing people make where it's like the witches riding on Roombas, right? Where they're just standing on the Roomba because it's another broom. Like that is just too funny to me that it's this flying Vespa. And again, if you want to make corrections to this image here, because there are one or two minor errors, you can see we're getting the could not find image. Probably because it's from a room. I'm just gonna go back. And
when somebody make a meme where some character hits Victor's head with a hammer and yells, "Could not find image, please."
I'm sure Bert will at the end of the stream too. So to fix this again, guys, if you do get that error, that rolling error that's happening right now, it's probably just a bug from the sheer demand of OREF. It is so popular right now. But if we go ahead and copy image URL, just go to the editor and use the URL as the image and just make your edits with version 6.1. Love this. I'm definitely going back to this image if you guys don't. I love the shadow on the water too. I just noticed the shadow on the water. It's so good. Okay, all right. I got to stop gushing about this one image. We got some laser eyes. Let's see here. And look, you even have Vio in the background kind of like reacting to this moment. That's awesome. I would definitely in-paint the top of his head here. Now you notice the background, right? The background in this result is white. But in order to fix this, it's really, really easy, okay? There's no style reference attached to this. So let's go ahead and fix it. So I'll hit this. We are going to copy image address. We're going to paste this back in here, and it is set to an Omni reference of 850. So let's go ahead and copy that over. Oh, not image weight, Omni reference weight. And then set 250. We could lower that number in order to bypass the background here. But if we read the prompt in full, it should give us a hint why the background's white. Outside of the fact that there is a white background in the reference. Robot with large eye as a head and a red cape shooting a big red laser beam out of its eye, destroying the building made of junk. A woman with a white shirt and short brown hair jumping out of the building. Okay, so again, version 7 is amazing at understanding multi-level complexities of what's being asked here. And I'm sure that there is this is probably a reroll or anything like that. And I can see that there's another parameter called experiment that has been added that was updated, I think, yesterday as well. I honestly have had so little experience with that parameter. I'm not even going to dabble with it. I might have to hand it over to somebody else too. So what are your thoughts on experiment?
Well, at first I didn't like it. On higher levels, it tends to mute the colors of the images a lot. Like the experimental or experience, how I sometimes call it an accident, parameter goes from 1 to from 0 actually to 100. Everything above 5 begins to be super strong, and from 40 to 100 you're entering a complete whack zone. So what I have found is that there is the little values 1, 2, 3, 4. Those can work great in increasing the fidelity of the image and just adding a different kind of image rendering to the process. If you go higher, it starts to take over a lot, and all the features suddenly work differently than you're maybe already used to. So it takes a lot of experimentation. But what I found, often when I have an image that is giving me okay results, but they could be a little bit better, just switching to EXP1 usually fixes it. And that's a really, really nice thing to have.
That's
It's
good
like
to know.
stylize in the end. It's like stylized a little bit, but it works just differently.
Interesting.
It gives you. I feel like I would describe it as if Midjourney is your all-around general amazing artist that can do a lot of stuff in a lot of styles. If you use EXP, each value of it gives you a different artist with a stronger opinion the higher you go.
That's fun. I will definitely have to experiment with experiment. Awesome, guys. Thank you for that, Rhapsody. I really appreciate that explainer. And Q4 just dropped, by the way. So you guys can play around with that too. But let's I wanted to finish this little explainer here though, because you can see the white backgrounds here. There are two ways we could fix this. We could include a style reference of one of the previous shots that includes a background, or we just describe the background. So at the front of this prompt, I'm going to say, under the burning desert sun, a robot with large eyes. Okay, so we're good. That's the prompt. That's the edit to the prompt that I'm going to make. We could also lower the omni weight a little bit of this, but I'm going to go ahead and repeat everything else from this prompt, including their profile, even though I will say this, profiles and mood boards, in my experience, are they work so differently with version 7 that if you are expecting the experience that you had with version 6.1, you won't get it. You will want to either craft a new mood board and really hone in a one specifically for version 7, or just skip out on the process entirely and just work with the images as is. So I am going to use it in this just to kind of prove my point here. But there's a chance that this profile includes a lot of white backgrounds, and that would kind of screw up my little explainer here. But I'm just going to go ahead and do it. Again, we're doing it live. And set the aspect ratio. Okay, and you can see I'm setting all these just by clicking on the parameters themselves. That's one of the things I love about working with on the website here. So I've added under the burning desert sun, and then I'm going to submit this, and we're going to take a look at it. So let's see what we get with this. I am running everything in turbo mode, just because it helps when it comes to doing these live streams for you guys to see what's going on. It means a lot less downtime, but it is more costly on your account if you do it. So if you are working in relax mode or anything like that, it'll definitely take longer to make your images, but it won't cost nearly as much. So if not, it's free as relax mode. So let's take a look at what we get just off of this result here. Remember last time we had a white background, and now there are no white backgrounds at all. And it just took adding the words under the burning desert sun in order to set the scene. I love doing this at the start of prompts, especially. It's actually more exciting for me when I do get a white background with a character reference, because it means I could set it anywhere I want. I could do whatever I want with this scene. And so I love the fact that she is like right behind and chasing with him. All based on the description of her inside of this prompt. She's not even referenced as an image inside of here. It's just a really good spell for VO. And Rhapsody now has gotten me addicted to calling prompts spells. But if you find, yeah, it's just awesome.
My plan worked, and it's a great name for them.
So we're almost done here. We're at, let's see, 88%. Just a second here, guys. I really want to show this off, because this is the real potential of OmniReference, in my opinion, is to be able to very quickly contextualize an image, especially a finished scene from a previous panel. So right now we're just using character references, but we will move on to the actual scene here as well. Because if you wanted to do like yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just because there's a lot of new people joining right now because of the announcement that just dropped. Welcome to the stream. We're prompting here live in the Aura release party. You're seeing Victor handling all sorts of prompts and showing off prompts from our community who is prompting here with us at the moment. You can prompt with us if you want to. There is a room link here. And also, there was an announcement, Victor, that you should know. David just posted that they launched Quality 4 for version 7, which also might better coherence, details, and hands. If you want to prompt like before, you can use --Q2. And the normal version 7 is now 2 times cheaper than before. And with this launch, there also comes speed ups. So we have now a fast mode that makes V7 2 times cheaper than before. And jobs will take about 40 seconds in fast mode and 80 seconds on turbo mode.
That's huge that it got cheaper. Oh my god. That's awesome.
Yes, and also, but ORF jobs are still 2 times the cost of normal. And fast, --fast mode job and draft mode jobs are unchanged.
Very cool. Thank you for that update. I have trouble seeing, because my screen is just 100%. I have an ultra wide monitor, right? Every bit of my screen real estate is dedicated to you guys right now. I cannot see little notification stuff, so thank you so much for updating me on that. But I am going to show you guys really quick the result of saying Under the Burning Desert Sun. And you can see, oh my god, it did exactly what we wanted to do. It put the background that we asked for inside of that result. Last time we just had a white background, and now we don't. All it takes is just writing words with omnireferencing to at least get somewhere. And it looks so good. I love this. Now, the only thing it's not doing is it's not shooting it out of the eye, which means that we would probably need a reference or to create a standalone reference of Junctor with a laser shooting at his eye, because it's not seeing the thing on his head as an eye, I think. I think that's what's happening here. So in order to get this, we would probably make a standalone prompt of of the character doing that and then use that as the reference. But okay, let's check out the chat really quick. So if you are hopping into here, we aren't using VC Create, which we normally do. We are inside of the OREF release party here. There is a whole bunch of active folks inside of here. You'll find links to it inside of VC Text. And if anyone who is new here, I see we have 83 people. That's awesome. It's awesome to see all you guys here checking out all the cool stuff we can do with omnireferencing.
If Victor takes a break later, I'm going to show you how to explode a city.
Well, I mean, do you want to do that now? I mean, we're checking out all this cool stuff.
I mean, I can, but usually you take a break a little bit later.
I've been rambling hard. I'm the rambling man, as Bert has illustrated on our Gnarly Studio server. That's one of my favorite images that has come out of us goofing around here. But look at these. I mean, Gompasta is just going hard with Vio and Junctor on this stream, and we got some more Roxy Potion Princess here. We got Lolo. We got Lolo in the room, y'all. Okay, so this, I believe these are version 6. Let's see here. You're using your main OC as the reference here, and then you have 3 style references of Lolo's comics. If you guys are not familiar who Lolo Soon is, he is a frequent visitor here on the streams, and he makes really cool comics. He's you could definitely check out his stuff. You can find his references inside of the chat that we're in. And they're really good. I'm really impressed with Lolo's work. So you could see the effect that it has here. Oh my god, these comic panels are looking so good within version 7, which is a hard thing to do, honestly. I don't have a workflow yet for making panels like speech bubbles and stuff inside of version 7. I have a feeling that it's going to end up being a mood board in the future, but for now, I mean, these are already coming out really good. You definitely will want to do some in painting on keeping the character consistency for this result, though. let's see here. We got Queen Lux here as well. Hi. And thank you guys. Let's see what else we got here. Ooh, we got Reveler here. Reveille, sorry. Reveille is using this image as their Omni reference, and using this image as their style reference, which is probably a previous result from up here as well. So yeah, it's right there. And so you guys are all following my little demo of my comic workflow. I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste that one more time for you guys, since we have so many new people here. If you look at VC text here inside of the Midjourney server, I'm going to paste the 3 pages that feature Brecci and Fungimancer, and I think later on, after we've exploded a city or two, we will finish up this comic and, try to get it out there. I'm trying to get it done before my interview with Board Panda, so that I can demo this our fantasy series for a very large audience. If you're not familiar with who Board Panda is, they do all sorts of like comic reviews and things, particularly entertainment, just broad entertainment company. And they recently reached out to me with a whole bunch of questions about my work. So I'm excited to deep dive with them into my own process and then show off all sorts of Ural's characters while doing it. So let's
Just drop that.
I'm sorry?
You just dropped that. Nobody knew about this. You just dropped that casually.
Yeah, whatever. It's all good. It's all good. There's gonna
be this interview. La, la, la.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun today. There's a lot of things going on. Oh my god, this whole week has been kind of nuts, honestly. So I won't get into any of my stuff, but I'm excited to see your all stuff getting a big demo here soon. But this is what I wanted to show you guys. Just if for anyone that missed the very beginning of the stream here, I made a comic with 2 characters from you guys, Brecci and Fungalmancer, and you can read that comic on VC Text right now. It doesn't have the punchline, which is we're going to finish the comic at the end of the stream here today. So I just really want to get through all the cool stuff that people are doing with omni referencing before we start getting into the nitty gritty of this of making comics and stuff. So at this point, I definitely will need to get a drink here pretty soon. So I'm totally down for you to take over whenever you want to, Rhapsody. But I am seeing some Farside comics. Oh my god, you guys are using Farside now? Okay, hold on. Shigawire 3D. Let's see what you're doing. Caveman style in the style of Farside, trying to build a rock spaceship. Oh wow. It's working really good.
It is.
It's kind of absurd how good that looks. Hold on a second. Yeah, yeah. Ancient was the only one that knew. Ancient and Kinky were the only 2 people who knew that before about the Board Panda interview. But let's see what this. I just have to. I mean, I'm such a big fan of Farside. Honestly, like I grew up with those little Farside like calendars, right? The daily rip away comics, right? So let's take a look. Oh my god. Yeah, that's ridiculous. A little bit of in painting to like get rid of some of the double noses and things like that. You have a Farside comic. My god. That is impressive. It doesn't look like a spaceship yet, but you could easily in-paint it to make it look like one. That's so cool. Oh, wow. Okay, and then we have a Gareth the Tinker Gnome Cyborg. The lower half, this is from Legal Beagle. The lower half of his body is pieced together into a motorized cart from the scrap parts. He is wearing a blue coat and thick lens goggles. Only his torso is visible above the machinery. And you can see it had some trouble doing that. It's like a wheelchair, I imagine, is what you're kind of aiming for with this. And it's more like he's riding a lawnmower. So I would certainly be in painting those legs away and doing things like that to really accomplish this prompt entirely. But this is really cool. I mean, look at him there. He's pretty freaking neat looking. And it's using the the VO style reference to make these consistent across all 4 results. That's cool. I always wonder what's on the shirts. Like look at like the out. This reminds me of like I don't know, like an early 90s, late 80s band album cover shirt where they just were like, here's a cheap shirt with a black and white print. It's really cool. I really like this shot, actually. I think there's some potential in this. I did notice something whenever it comes to if your style reference includes characters that have subtle outlines to them, sometimes those outlines will become white. You'll notice that on VO here. That like if I take a look at the reference image here, we have some white on the rim of this character. This is probably because it was using layers, and VO was slapped inside of here using layers in the editor, and you could see that subtle white line is inside the style reference. It will preserve that and apply a now clean white line around the character. The only real way to fix that is to in-paint over the image before you use it as a reference. So you in-paint just the very outer edge with the smallest size brush and just trace the outside of her and say, okay, this is just a scene or whatever. You don't really need to change the prompt very much. You just need to highlight the white out of there, and then you'll be able to use that and not see that repeat as you use it as a style reference. I love Revelie's character just kind of hanging out, though. Yahoo! Okay, all right. At this point, I'm just kind of digging through some of this stuff. Ooh, yep, already blowing stuff up. We already got some nukes going down. There's a AI dungeon. The AI dungeon crawling game? I forgot. It's like a text-based thing. I believe it's called AI Dungeon. The number of times you just end up being like a maniacal god character just by default, like you just start typing and within 20 prompts you end up being like some god character that's able to like destroy the entire universe, is just so common. This is what that reminds me of right off the bat. Oh, look at that. We even have some like loud, frantic speech bubbles and stuff like that. Let's see. We have throwing potions, dynamic perspective, motion lines. All that's being, seen or at least partially represented here. Whenever I want this sort of spiky speech bubble look, I say frantic, sometimes discombobulated is a good word too, but frantic, aggressive, or erratic frantic is actually the most common combination I use to get this sort of look of the speech bubble. Screaming, yelling, that kind of stuff. Onomatopoeia, there should be more reference to onomatopoeia, but it definitely has trouble understanding what you mean if you just write that. So, oh wow, yeah, these are awesome. Lots of potential coming from this, and you can see that in terms of the Omni reference here, you might get away with increasing this number a little bit to get Junktor to look a bit more accurate here. But I think what the better role is actually to just use this image also as the style reference, and double that over. So you could do that. If I were to select this prompt, select this as the Omni reference here on the website. It's really easy to do. So let's set this to an Omni reference here. I have to set it to version 7. Hold on. Settings, version 7. There we go. And now it's set as an Omni reference automatically. If we want to also use the same image as a style reference, you just hold Shift on your computer and it will drag it over to the other side. So it's very easy to basically copy and paste some images without copying links or anything like that. You just hold Shift and drag the icon. Okay. Let's see here. I'm not going to run that prompt. I just wanted to show you guys that you can do that. Let's see what else we got going on here. Oh, we see Via's getting electrical powers, lightning powers. I do this a lot as well. I have a Warhammer 40k comic I'm working on right now, where I'm trying to make an anime version of Warhammer 40k, and because that was actually requested from me a year and a half ago. I was doing a couple of demonstrations of Midjourney on Reddit, and someone was like, "Wait a minute, is this an anime version of Warhammer with the Sisters of Battle?" And I was like, "Yes, yes, it is." And they were just like, "Oh my god, I want to watch this right now." And that feeling, that motivation, is what drives so much of us to make stuff with Midjourney. I've learned is just people going like, "Oh my god, I want to see this to the end," and they just are driven to get to that point. So this is awesome. Look at Electrified VO here. A comic of a woman hovering in the sky over a destroyed city. The air shatters around her. She has cyan electricity flowing from her hands. And it's certainly doing that. It's coming out of her eyes too. But she's like gaining superpowers in this scene because of that. The Omni weight is set to 1,000. I mean, that's probably going to do some bonker stuff. Let's take a look at what it did here. Look what it did to the backgrounds here. It's no longer a desert scrapyard. She is not actually that accurate in these because the Omni weight, in my opinion, is too high.
Yes, that's also something that I noticed. If you set the Omni weight to high, what you also will see on these images, if you zoom in, is that you get this weird burnt feeling.
It's
like
a low res, right?
Kind of blur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can really see that actually, as if we zoom in, is it almost feels like it's like the frame from a film or an animation, right? Where there's a little bit of blur in the film. Like if it's an animated cartoon, everything is clean and crisp, or at least it should be until it's been post-processed to have motion blur and all that sorts of stuff. This feels like a frame from a 90s VHS tape. And basically, I feel like the higher you go above 500 for our intent, for at least for the intention of making character stuff with anime or just a drawn illustrated aesthetic, the higher above 500 you go, the more at risk you get of a VHS effect of where things feel like they're kind of burning in or they otherwise blur a little bit. So let me just demonstrate that really quick. We are going to, instead of clicking every one of these parameters manually, I'm going to go up to here and hit copy. And then hit prompt up here. That's going to not just copy the text, it's going to also copy all the parameters and the image links. So then I can come down to the prompt bar here and just paste it and everything updates automatically. You do not need to save all that stuff. But now if I go to like a text document, you'll see that it actually pastes it with all the links and all that stuff too. So if you want to back up your prompts without using /prefer, you can open up a text document, use the copy function up here, and just save your prompts that way. That way you get all your links and stuff backed up somewhere. But now I'm going to switch the Omni reference from 1,000 to 300. The stylize, I'll just keep everything else the same, even the chaos value. That's totally fine. And we're just going to submit that and take a look at what sort of difference this makes. I am running in turbo, so it should go pretty quick to see that. And I think someone else is already doing that too up here. But let's take a look at what I get with a lower Omni weight. Again, anything above 500, you run that risk of losing the intention of preserving the character, but that might be what you want to do. Like that might, the Rhapsody's going to get into higher Omni weights with she gave me a little demo of what she was doing earlier. So you get above 500 in one of those, right? At least I think so.
Yes. I was muted. Definitely, especially on non-character things, it can be very interesting to go above 500.
I see. Let's take a look at what we get with this result here. You could see, though, that as we are, because we ran with an Omni weight of 300 on this one, we are going to see a lot less of that sort of VHS effect, as I call it. VHS effect, by the way, the actual terminology for that actually is about re-recording the same video again and again and again on a strip of film. So the idea is that if you had a VHS tape, you put the recorder in, you record another video on top of that film, and you just keep doing that. Eventually, it starts to degrade, it starts to fall apart, and you see that with all sorts of like compression tools, where if you compress a video and then you expand it out again, and compress a video and then can expand it out, it starts to also have a similar effect. So I am just going to call it that for now, but it's technically probably something called something else. It reminds me of that, so I'm going to call it that. But let's take a look. We're at 94% here. Almost done. And done. Okay. Now look at this. That burn-in effect is almost gone. She has a little bit of inconsistency with her toes, and I'll explain how I get around that. Oh my god. This one looks amazing. Yes, and it's following the prompt so much better with the intention of what you wrote here, right? The air is shattering around her. She has cyan electric flowing from her hands. It's not flowing from her eyes anymore. It's flowing from her hands as intended. This looks so good. But now I want to show you guys this though. So if you have a result like this, where you're like, this is almost exactly what I want. It's just slightly wrong. Like the feet, look at how the feet are kind of merged here in a weird way, that kind of stuff. We will use variation subtle to fix this. Because even upscale creative can fix things like this now, but I will use variation subtle to show you guys what I mean. It is incredibly powerful now because omnireferencing will lock a lot of the core aspects of your prompt, and variation subtle is how you find the exact image you're going to use as your image prompt, either for AI video or for making a comic or whatever you're going to use these images for. In my opinion, variation subtle is how you pick your final image you're going to use. You have your composition, you have the idea, it's representing that idea really well. It's just, there's maybe some anatomical issue, or there's like some minor camera angle or twist to it's going to preserve the composition really well with variation subtle. That's the intention of variation subtle, is to preserve your composition but change the context within it. And now with variation strong, it will change the composition, but it doesn't do it as dramatically as it did at version 6. So it's a really nice balance in my opinion right now. But let's take a look at what happened with variation subtle. Look, her shoe is no longer pointing the wrong direction. She's mostly in the right position, but she is wearing a hat in all these, which is again a byproduct of variation subtle, as it's going to preserve these silhouettes of your character more likely. But in all four of these results, her shoes are way better, and it's about the same image. Like she's at the same height above the ground. She has similar background elements. This building is largely preserved in its position, but the building itself changes. That's good. It just means that we can now mash all four of these results if we wanted to, and pick and select parts of it to finish the image manually if we really wanted to go that far. But this is great. Like this is a really great demo of variation subtle. Yeah, it looks so good. Great job, guys. Great job. I mean, look at the realism that's being introduced here by using this image here, which has a lot of really good shading inside of her shirt and such, and also the rusting of Junctor looks so good on this. This is a really good image to use as an Omni reference, at least in my opinion, because you could see how much it's preserving him here. This is because the weight is a little high for making him change positions here. She just turned. So you can literally take this panel, have them talking to somebody, and then use this panel to be like she's confirming something with him, and you could just in-paint his eye line to be slightly different. Stuff like that. I would probably run this with a little bit lower of an Omni weight in order to get Junctor to move as well. Okay. Ooh. What are you guys doing? What is Rhapsody doing here? Are you using the tumbling up profile here? I have a feeling you are. No? Oh, yep, there it is. Yep,
I edited.
So, Tumbling Up is my webcomic series that features Sage and Michael. It's my most popular thing on the internet right now. It's a series that's set in 1995. It's set 30 years to the day. So you can find that profile either by copying it from these results here from Rhapsody, or I also have it shared on the Gnarly Studio server. You could see that it is, if I go to my mood boards here, Tumbling Up is literally just the comics. I've deleted a couple of pages because they are a little too much of one thing. Like there's an image of Destiny, who's Sage's mother, looking through the little peephole of the door. I got rid of that image because it's so drastically different than the rest of the comic. It is a wide angle shot, which would introduce all sorts of like Terry Gilliam style exaggerative cameras. So I got rid of that, and I immediately saw improvement from the comics by doing it. So this is after a lot of experimentation. You could find all of the working panels that I have here. So the way you share this, you can either use it as a prompt and copy the code, or you can copy the actual page. So I'm going to go up here and copy the URL for the midjourney.com/personalize here. And then I will paste it here for you guys as well. So here is the Tumbling Up Comics mood board. It is now inside of VC text for you guys. And that will let you force speech bubbles and a more comic layout into your results. Just include it on top of whatever profiles you're using, or you can use, or you could just use it as itself. But I will warn you that if you use that, it will force your characters into a 90s office space by default. So if you want to see like The Office, but with your OCs in a Franco-Belgian style, that's where you'll you could use that profile to do it. Okay, I need to take a sip or two here. Actually, Kinky, do you want to make announcements first, and then Rhapsody, you want to take over after that?
I can, yes.
Okay.
Sure thing. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Kinky Minute. I'm here to invite you guys this weekend to a little game that we play called Prompt Battles. We play it every weekend for 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. We do 10 minutes on the clock to create an image that somebody else asked for. So that's like the challenge. We go prompt by ourselves for 10 minutes, but we still talk and chat and have a great time in the VC. But you don't have to talk because you can just type in the chat like some people, like some Snoopies. And then once the 10 minutes is over, we take our images and we put them into something called a poll unit. And that poll unit is going to keep everything nice, anonymous, and fair, where everybody votes not knowing who anybody is and who voted for them. But we do get to know how many votes we got. It's real fun. Once you win, you get a free fast hour and you get to issue the next challenge. But even if you don't win, you can get a free fast hour or two just for participating. It's a great time. I hope you guys join us. It's I mean, like if you want to come, there's probably a time during this weekend that you can join us, or any weekend. Don't miss out. Don't miss out. It's a good time. You get to meet new people. You get to learn how to prompt new things. And I'm there doing my part to talk on the Midjourney event microphone. But I'm gonna let Victor and Rhapsody come back. And I hope you guys have a great rest of the show.
Thank you so much, Kinky. And yes, please go to Prompt Battles. It's a great way to learn how to do things outside of the box. Basically, it breaks you out of your box of how to do things and see how other people accomplish similar goals. Great. I highly recommend everyone at least do one. And it goes on for a long time, so it's flexible to your schedule. Boop. Awesome.
Exactly.
Awesome. All right. Well, outside of just checking out what everyone else is doing here, I'm curious to see what you got going on, Rhapsody.
All right, I'm going to take over the screen here for a minute.
Do it.
Let me just click this button here.
Yeah, let me turn off. Yeah, I am turning things off. Don't worry about it.
Boom. So, now I'm here. Hi. So we talked the whole stream a lot about characters and using OmniReference to reference some characters, but OmniReference can do so much more. So if you want to join me for a little while and step away from all your amazing characters, let's do something different, right? We can, what I always wanted since forever, for a whole year now, is somewhat of a location consistency and doing things with locations, because my heart forever lies with environments. That's just a thing about me. I love environments. I love creating like these settings where stories can happen, where characters live, where there is history and so on. And usually for that you need a way to like move the camera or let an event happen at a certain place or city or something. So I want to show you what OmniReference is capable in that regard. So I'm seeing Collect is prompting already a super nice location. Something important about referencing with OREF and locations is having something that the OREF can attach to. So I went ahead and I just prompted like a few things right here, like an amazing wizard tower with violet glowing runes, for example, in a fantasy city, or this gigantic fantasy city here, or even a town square, marketplace with gnomes, elves, and a gigantic eagle statue in the center. And we are able to reference these things. I personally like this a lot. This looks very interesting to me. So I'm just gonna copy this image here for a moment, and I'm going back to the room, and I'm going to drop this in here and move it to the OmniReference. And now we want something different. We want to see a market stand where all the weapons are displayed. A lizard trader is offering his wares. So we start about this, do an aspect ratio of 16:9. Maybe also reinforce the style here for a second. Let's say anime style, just a general thing. So now we have this OmniReference in here. We have a description of the scene we want. Now we just need to reference also the thing that the OmniRef should grab onto. And so I'm writing in the background, there is a house with a gigantic golden eagle statue on top. And I'm just gonna prompt this, and we're gonna have a look what this is giving us. Now, when it comes to locations and other things, everything changes. Like with characters, we said earlier, go above 400 and it enters the wonky zone. With locations and stuff, you might need to push it straight up a little bit from the beginning. I didn't add any omni weight here, so we're just gonna go with a normal 100 and see what it gives me. And yeah, then we're gonna see what we can do with this. So just remember, this is the prompt. This is like the image that we gave it as an input. And yeah, I don't have the super turbo that Victor is enjoying. So it takes a little bit longer on my side, but we see already, if I go in this as it's rendering, we have the statue on top of a building, and we're now down to the floor. And this one looks like it could be really placed like at the bottom level of this area. So let's have a look. Come on, you can do it. This is gonna take a bit. So maybe let's talk about the other things while this is rendering. I also prepared some wizard towers. I'm just gonna use this, for example, because this is really nice and recognizable. If I just copy this image, and I'm just gonna start putting this in here, and copy this, and maybe also copy my mood board here, version 7, 16:9. I'm gonna copy all of this in the bar, move this to the OmniReference, and then I say the sun is rising behind the fantasy city. Drone footage from above. There is a lush forest surrounding the city and a mountain not far away. I'm just giving it a general description here. And now we have a look at these. I mean, look at this. This image alone could be placed, could be on this area. It's not the exact same thing, right? It's not because we didn't up the OREF weight on this one, but the general gist, or this is really, really close. The general gist is there. So if we compare this, there's this eagle here. There's another statue actually down here that I didn't describe now, so I didn't really latch onto it, but we have some resemblance in this area here. So now I'm going to just take this, and we're going to take the OW up to 1,000, and let's see what's happening here. What do we have here? Collect this, posting an aerial photo of a village, and we have people with swords now coming in. And where's my wizard tower? Here's my wizard tower. And we can already see that we are getting somewhat the same wizard tower, even with the same housing, but from a totally different perspective. So we took this one wizard tower and placed it either somewhere else or in a city in a wider context around everything, with a wider context around it. And that's just super amazing. I love that, because that allows us to get an introductory shot to an environment, and then also prompt for different locations within the city, while also seeing this gigantic landmark hovering in the background. And that just glues everything together when you do something like this. And that's 92% here. And the other one is at 65. It's really slow today. There is a few, 80, 98. Yeah, just look at this. Like, it's not perfect. It's not perfect. You get wonky stuff sometimes, and you need to re-roll it here and there. But this, yeah, shared landmarks. Like, okay, it's glowing blue up here, and the runes have different colors, but the type of runes, the type, like how it's built and how the general shape is, that stayed the same. And that is really, really cool. So we can use this to prompt different like locations now. And the same is true. Oh God, what is Lolosun up here? Lolosun is just prompting legal beagle statues now. In fantasy cities. Now here's my prompt with OREF 1,000, and there you see this landmark, this gigantic eagle statue, and you're just in a completely different street, like, or down to the level, to the floor level now, and even the statue below the eagle is now in here. And if we stabilize the style here and use that in continuous shots on and on and on, we have a really nice connection between things. We can even go in and say in the background behind the gigantic open window, there's a house with a statue on top, and now we're just going inside the alchemist workshop. There is shelves with potions, and now I'm also gonna add something as a style reference. Let's take some nice style. I don't know. Just looking through my library now to find something that I like. So let's take this, for example. Copy image. Just going to post this in as a style reference. Let's see what it does. Style reference will influence the image's style. And in the sense of OREF, it might also destroy it, but we're just going to experiment here for a second. I really want to change the style here. Where is the thing? Yeah, there is more villages and stuff going on. There's the legal beagle statues. This is crazy. Really nice. So that's one thing. And now that we can generate a different perspective from a city, we can also do really basic stuff like blowing a city up. So what I did here, for example, is prompt a gigantic ball of flaming energy falling down towards the fantasy Japanese inspired city. That was for this special city. There's a gigantic endless tower reaching up to the stars. That's just details about what I originally wanted, but we can just take this. Actually, I don't think I need to modify it. Go back to my wizard's tower, or just take one of yours. There's a Scott monument painted white. Okay. Is there another location or city where you did something similar? No, I'm not seeing it. Oh God. There's a Miss Nameless being created in gigantic proportions. So let's go to the wizard tower. Let's take one of these. Let's take this one. I'm just gonna post this in here, and I'm gonna copy my prompt and post the prompt in here. And now the sun is not rising behind the fantasy city, and the lush forest is not of importance. What we are going is, there is a giant explosion on top of the wizard's tower. It is an establishing shot from above and far away. And in the center, we keep just the spell for the wizard tower to keep this a little bit more in line with everything else. And I'm just going to prompt this one, and we should see how our wizard tower is now experiencing an explosion. And this works for weather conditions. This works for cloud formations, for different times of day, and so on. You get the gist of it. You can just dynamically move or dynamically change your city or your location. And that's mind-blowing. For me at least, like that's what I wished for. It's not perfect yet, and I wished we had a better like a location, an additional location reference, kind of, or a way to mark a location, just so that I can also prompt a character while I'm prompting for a location. But that's maybe something for the future. But for now, this allows us to do so much more. And there we are, getting slowly to our gigantic explosion fireball. And it's now also, of course, taking in the city here, because I added it as an image prompt. So it's going to draw from this, and it's adding the tower. And then we're going to have our energy ball. It's now behind the tower. But that's okay. There's something on top of the tower. And for this tower, we didn't even need to go to high omniref values, right? So this is just 100
Hello?
right now. Hello?
I'm sorry. So
Kinky?
sorry.
Oh, good. Oh my God! Look at this. The whole city is going.
I thought I heard someone coming into my house and I'm alone. It was scary.
Oh. Oh God. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah, I got this idea from a pen and paper roleplay session last week, where one of the characters, that was a friend, just suddenly just turned on my group, and they just unleashed the most amazing and powerful spell that was ever seen in the world, which is basically getting a star from the sky and dragging it down to the ground. So I wanted to visualize this, and that led me here. And this is looking pretty good. This is, yeah, 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 no, stop. Yeah, yeah, right. It's crazy. So let's have a look. We saw these, and that's all good. Now, oh god, is this a Blobby statue? Are you prompting fantasy cities with Blobby now? Yes, I draw for you is prompting Blobby here. With my style reference and the city. And it's definitely taking a lot from the image reference here. And not applying so much style. That's also something that I noticed. Where is my style reference image? I prompted one with the style reference, right? Your images. Go to the bottom. Oh yeah, this one. Oh, I didn't think about that. Oh yeah. Here's the potions. I mean, it's an that's an interesting effect. Yeah, right. So, so that's for this, and then there is a different thing we can do. If I just go into my files here and I search for Moonlight, I should find a prompt that I prompted a long time ago, which is a weapon, for example, like this one. And I love this sword. I just love it. It looks so cool. So now with omnireference, we can just take the sword, post it in here, and just say inside an ancient temple there is the altar of moonlight. And I personally like to, with version 7 specifically, to just start my prompts as if I am writing a description for a script or something, or even a little bit more dramatic things, because V7 is able to understand it. And I personally have the feeling, that's a feeling now, not valid knowledge. If you do that, it somehow subconsciously below the surface induces some kind of dramatic prompting. I don't know. It's my feeling. Maybe if people want to test it, try it out. Try out different versions of prompting and writing prompts. It's really interesting what you can get in version 7 for sure. And my personal feeling is it works. So I'm going to do that. Inside an ancient temple, there's an altar of the moon. On top lays the moonlight sword chained to it. And we're gonna go, it is a dimly lit room at night. Candles at the wall and the stars on the ceiling are clearly visible. Now I'm gonna also search for a nice moonlight shot, something. I should have a few somewhere. I typed in moonlight, right? Yeah, I did. Well, let's go for her, for example. Why not? Take just one of these. Because this has just the coloring and the edge lighting and the moon there that I really like, I'm just going to take this and plonk this in as a style reference for now. I'm going to go AR16:9, an OREF weight of, let's go with 500 for a start. Stylize, I will do, go with 400 at the moment. And that should be it. And then we will see what we're actually getting. So now I'm mixing a text prompt that describes my background and the location with an omni reference for an item and a style reference with a person. So this will be interesting to see which one of these is taking the biggest role in generating this image. And we have to then, if you do something like this, you have to balance all these values against each other if it isn't working. But this looks already really promising. We're getting definitely a temple and an altar of some sorts. Not so much moonlight yet. Looks more like a door. We will see. Let's have a look what you guys are doing in the meantime. I'm seeing bunning and seeing lace chips laying on a ship from Lolo soon. That's a lot of lace. Oh my god, it just did the logo perfectly. What? Is that what's lace? This is not sponsored, but let's have here. That's the logo. And this is what it did. That is impressive. Oh, and a fire spitting bunny. I love that. What else do we have here? We have powers. Oh, we have the blobby statues. Oh my god. Oh, this is good with the troops. And we have an over-the-shoulder thing. I imagine him just turning around, staring at you while you walk along the path here. Like you just want to go by, and you have this centered in the town square blobby standing in this pool and just staring at you like a sentry cam that is following you. Yeah, yeah, that's really good. Yeah, even the shadows are consistent, and the distortions are correct on this one. So that's really nice. So let's go back. Where's my moonlight sword? Oh yeah, look at this. There we have the moon and the sword. Candles. So what I'm seeing here is that we have a lot of realism influence in this one. So the style is not really followed through. Maybe it also can't really identify this one. The sword is also not strong enough. So I'm gonna go in here. Just gonna up the OW to 1000 just for the moment, and then do the style weight also to 1000. And now we're gonna let these values fight against each other. I encourage everybody to just sit down for an hour or two and play around with all the values you have in version 7. Give it, just work on one prompt instead of 10. And just play around with all the values. That will teach you so much on how to balance them that you will have a much, much, much easier time when you continue prompting afterwards. As I said in my own workshops in the past, balancing all the reference strengths is really important to not get stuck. And I sense that we are maybe getting stuck a little bit here. So I'm just gonna do another prompt here for a second. I'm gonna in here, just prompt there. I'm gonna reinforce the anime style through words. And I'm also gonna add --exp1. And now I'm gonna do a multi-prompt. Not a multi-prompt, but I don't know how it's called. It's multiple prompts in one. So if you do these curly brackets here, and you just do 1, 2, 3, 4, it's going to send 4 prompts. And every single prompt is going to have one of these different values for the EXP version. I'm just going to send this now. If I scroll down, you will see I just submitted 4 prompts. Sadly, the EXP, oh, it's showing now. Yeah, you see it, there is EXP1, 3, and there's 4. So it's in all of them. Permutations, that's the word, right? Permutations. And we're gonna have a look at that. Oh, getting interesting. It's just taking a bit right now. We still have a sword on top of an altar, but it's still trying to reinforce the standard, like kind of 3D look that version 7 gives me personally a lot. I could try to lower the stylize again on this too. So I'm just gonna do this again because stylize is very strong in version 7 and we don't want it to overpower our other prompts. Maybe also just my style reference isn't the best here. We could go in and just take another style reference. I posted last week something for you guys to play with. I need to go scroll back to last week. Let's go. Where? This one. No. Yeah, this was it. Just gonna copy my prompt here, post it in here, and just copy out the sref. What did you post? I want to see this. Oh, wow. Let me open this. I didn't listen. I was concentrating on building a new prompt, but my generations, my generations went through, and we can clearly see, yeah, the weapon, it is here, but like the style is not really consisting through this, which is fine. We're just gonna change it up. But I like these scenes. We're basically also able to take these scenes and just style transfer them later. I just really want to try to reinforce things now. What is this one here? This is the one where we changed the stylize back to 100, right? And then I also added one here with all these style references that are just like comic anime style. We can see immediately on these one at least that we have a more drawn style. And the sword is still glowing in its color and stuff. So, oh, look at this. This is looking good. Yeah, we have the chains and it's hovering and the moonlight is coming in. So you kind of play around with these and do a little, can do really awesome things with these items. Come on, I just want to show the final thing. Yeah. 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 Right. Yeah. It's amazing. Can I get paid for this ad I draw for you? I think you could, actually. Like, I don't know. Or you get sued by Lay's for prompting their logo. I don't know. Difficult.
Hi.
Yeah, and I'm Rhapsody. I'm a former app creative and teaching people in all kinds of multimedia things for 15 years now. And I'm supporting Victor in everything we do around Gnarly Studios. And I don't know, I don't have an official title, but I'm kind of just caring for the community and trying to get everybody the things and the knowledge they need to pursue whatever goal you have. So that's why I'm here. And we also found. Thank you. All right. In the background, I constructed another prompt to demonstrate how to use props with your characters. So what you're seeing here is an old image that I created from my main character, Ryo, where she's holding like this blue water energy sword. Her wings are visible, the clothing is not exactly correct, but that all doesn't matter. I'm using this as an image prompt to inform Midjourney about pose and colors and the character in general, because for the Omni reference, I wanted to use the same sword that we used previously. And my prompt is, the young girl is holding a sword, which is what we want. And then I added the spell for my character. So a spell, what I call a spell, is a very stable description of a character, and it basically allows you to create a character without any references. And for Ryo, it's really, really, really extremely stable. Her spell is, she's a MOE anime character with long white hair and bright blue eyes. She's wearing black and round glasses that are perfectly round. Yes, the double round here is important for version 7 to really solidify the roundness of the glasses. Long white hair, bright blue eyes, few feathers in the hair, wearing a red kimono, blue shirt, black baggy pants and sandals, and she has red and brown angel wings. Then I just added anime style just to solidify that style again. I'm going to start here with an Omni weight of 100, and then we will see if she actually holds the sword. And this one should be a really easy one. We have to balance the weight of the image versus the weight of the Omni reference of the sword and the words here. We're starting out now here with a weight of 100 for the Omni reference. I didn't say anything about the image, so the image weight will be 100. 101. It will be 1. And if this doesn't work, we will have to play around with the values a little bit. This is already looking pretty good. The character is definitely coming through. So let's see. Sometimes she's getting demonic wings. If I do this, like leathery wings and stuff. But we will see. The benefit of doing this approach, where the character is in the image reference and the item you want is in the Omni reference, is that the item will be consistent, which is usually very hard. Also, my sword is probably very hard to use. And the character will be somewhat correct, and you can inpaint these with the C-revs in the editor functions. Because we don't have inpainting in V7 yet, we need to do it this way around. And so start with the item you want the character to hold, and then inpaint whatever you need for the character. Like here she's getting somewhat these goggles that I don't like, so I would outpaint these. Yeah, this is already looking good. The sword is somewhat looking correct. It's a bit longer than what I would expect, but the character is pretty stable here. These are actually all kind of okay, but I wish we had a little bit more of the item in there. So I'm just gonna go in here and increase the omni weight to 500. I personally like doing big steps with the omni reference weight and just get a feel for what is too much. I try to do a big step and then halve it and then decide, do I need more or less, and do half the thing again and so on until I reach the correct amount. Yeah. No, wait. What are you doing here? Canned goods. Our physical reality, one of many test tubes cultivating consciousness. Metaphysical laboratory, rainbow organic asymmetrical geometric chemicals. Stunning. Fine details. With an omni reference that looks like this, which is really weird. Okay. Interesting. And we have an image reference, which looks like this. Oh god, I get nightmares from these things. But the output is absolutely beautiful. Look at this. That's nice. Yeah. Oh, here we're getting somewhere. This is looking amazing already. I can see the sword. And everything else about her character is almost perfect. This will be the one, I guess. Then, of course, yeah, we got a lot of things where swords are just swords, where she doesn't really hold it, it's not really visible. That's just things that happen still. Like, it's not going to give you perfect results with items and locations every single time. But if you re-roll it a few times, you usually get something where the item is actually shown. And yeah, I don't think we need to go further than Omniweight 500 there. Yeah, just look at this. It's the correct sword. It's a nice style. We can just take this image and then start in painting her. So I'm just gonna go in here, delete the Omni reference like Victor has shown previously, going down to Niji6 in this case, removing version 7. And here I'm also gonna have my profile on because I like my Niji profile. And I'm just gonna search for better reference for her. For example, this is okay. Let's take this image. I'm just gonna post this. Put it into the character reference, and then we can just fix her hair, maybe try to get her feathers. I'm removing the sword here. Just also gonna take out the white from the wings because that's not supposed to be there. The wings should be brown and red. Oh, because of the green again. Yeah. So, yeah, let's just send this. We can do other things. So if you create these items, do we have items in our character portal by now? We have some. We have the book. I know that. Yeah. We don't have props. We have locations. We have character designs. We have Western sci-fi flora, gods, but we don't have props. So we should add that because I want to see all these artifacts. Nice. This is a good one. Just gotta go in here and just try to reinforce the feathers on her head with some different, with this image, for example. Should be less than 10. Is this bigger than 10 megabyte? Wow. Copy address. Oh, now it's working. Just gonna prompt this in here. There is 3 feathers sticking out of her head. So we're just gonna add this. But you see how powerful this is. Like, we can transfer this word to different scenes and solidify these items on the characters now with omnireference. Of course, it would be better if we could do it the other way around and in-paint things, and that will for sure be a feature in the future. But for right now, we have to deal with the limitations we got. I'm not really getting the feathers here. So I might just try it again, just outpaint a bigger area here. And just, yeah, either that. I'm just gonna try to remove everything else from the prompt for now. And if that doesn't work, then I will put an image prompt on there. And if that doesn't work, then I'm gonna just give it back to you. Yeah, sometimes we get stuck like this. It's just, yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Yeah. But what is also, yeah, something that's also happening here is that the character reference is really zoomed in on her face, right? I really wanted to emphasize this area here. But now it's taking the aspect ratio and the ratio between negative space and her head and trying to superimpose this on the area I selected. So that's not good. I need to take the full image. It's not going to work otherwise. And I can't copy it, but I can just enter it via link. So I'm just going to use this as an image reference, as a character reference for now again, because I now selected a bigger area. And as a last resort, I will also just add it as an image reference. It's also a different style and stuff. So yeah. 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 Her hair is definitely better here than it was before. I like that. So I'm just gonna continue outpainting this here. But I'm not getting the feathers. So I might just extend the area here a little bit. See what I'm getting then. And we'll see. But yeah, it's an iterative learning process for everybody, even us. Yeah, it is. But I just got an idea. Yes, yes, I got an idea. I know what we're doing. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm searching for a really nice image of her that I have somewhere in my library where the feathers stick out nicely like they do here. Let's confirm this. She's looking frontal at us. So I'm just gonna not really, not really. I have something completely different. This is perfect. This is perfect. I'm gonna copy this image. I'm gonna go in here and add a layer. So we have layers in the editor now. I can just add a layer. Oh no. Yes. I'm just gonna add this image as a layer on here. And I'm just gonna erase like 99% of this. Basically just gonna yeah. So I'm just gonna take away everything that I think I don't need here. So now we have these feathers in here, and I can just this to be somewhat on the right thing. I'm sad that we don't have rotation yet, but at least we have rescale. And this should be fine enough. So I'm just gonna put this in here and prompt it. And it's now just gonna mix down these feathers onto the image because I don't have any area that is not selected, like that has no pixel info. All of the image is filled, so it's just gotta merge the both layers together, which is fine because because now I can go in here and I can just take a brush and erase like everything around this feather. And this should, with a little bit of luck, understand that I want more. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, this is already looking really good, for example. It's not perfect. I could have chosen better ones, but I'm happy with these for now. What I would do now, usually I'm gonna download this image. What I can do now is save the current edit. Now I have this image, right? So I can go back and I'm happy with that image. And if you're happy, that's all totally fine. But I can go back to where we prompted this and just use the same thing again, but instead of this image prompt, I'm going to use the image we just created. And now I have double the reinforcement. Ooh, that's a really good version. Collect. MOE anime illustration of a young girl with long white hair with a few feathers in the hair, bright blue eyes, and red and brown angel wings, wearing black, blah. Yeah, okay, all the stuff. And he just did Style Raw. Style Raw is also a really powerful tool in version 7. Every tool is powerful in version 7. It's over 5,000, guys. Every tool is over 5,000. Yeah, and mixing and matching these is your way to win. Yeah. And especially if you find something that you want to talk about, or where you find a problem that you want us to have a look at and solve, or to report some weird case, this is also an area where you can do it. Like we can, like, you can write kinky, you can write us, you can show it to us in the workshop, and if it's really a problem or if there is feedback that can be used, it will of course be heard. So this is not too specific to us here presenting. So it's available to everyone. There's also the ideas and was it features, ideas and features channel on this Discord, where you can write your thoughts into it and your wishes, and people are actively reading those. So never hesitate to give your feedback in one or the other way. You don't need to be a streamer on a stage to be heard. Yeah. Which, yeah, just looking through these that Collect has made, there are a lot of very amazing ones in there. And that's just the power of re-rolling. I didn't want to do that right now. I usually would re-roll like 4 or 5 times until I find a version that works really, really well. But yeah, same. Yep, exactly. Yeah, but that's my tips and tricks for Omni reference outside of characters today. I hope it was a little bit helpful and insightful. And I'm gonna give it back to you, Victor.
And what I'm going to do now is, okay, I got everything turned back on here. We can see all the cool stuff that you guys have been doing inside of the room that we've provided for the OREF release party. If you do not know where that is, you can find links for it inside of VC Text, as well as links to the server and various other cool things that we're doing. This is also the 2,000 member celebration stream. We will be finishing a comic here at the end of we're probably going to do that now, actually. We're going to finish up our Fungal Mancer Brekkie meetup. I keep calling them verses, but I want to make more and more hangouts between 2 characters or 3 characters from the character portal. So join up there, submit your characters, and they may end up in a comic or a video that we release. So now what I'm going to do, though, is I'm just going to turn off the OREF room for a moment. And where I last left off on explaining the Fungal Mancer comic that I made was how to put characters using inpainting into a result. So if we look here, the last thing we did was switch to version 6. From version 7 to version 6.1, and then I can now have access to character referencing. But if I run this as it is, it's going to give me an error, and it's because it's trying to apply the omni weight. It's just a bug, guys. So what we can do to fix that is by manually writing -CW100, and that's the same as like the default value for character weight. And this will then let us put a character in here. And in fact, I'm going to put a new character in here. We want to keep this as the style reference, but we're going to put a new character in here. Let's do, I think it was Autumn that I was going to, yes, Autumn Starlight. Inside of our character portal, you'll find links, poses, character references, the backstory of the characters, all that sort of stuff. It's all entirely optional for you guys to submit. But this one is from Tanner. If you are looking for a specific kind of character, you can filter based on the type of character. So I actually have to move this bar a little bit down for you guys to see this. There you go. You can see that there is a sci-fi and fantasy, but if you click on the all drop down, you'll find there is prop. It's under weapon, item, and prop right here, Rhapsody. It was there. So I'll delete this one a little later.
Didn't see that.
If we now filter, say, let's do a villain, right? We have all our villains here that you guys are welcome to use. We also have we have all sorts of different characters here, but we're gonna go with Autumn on this one. If you do know the exact name of the character, I will say it's a little annoying to do the search up here because you have to have the exact name of the character. At least for the start of it. So we're going to do Autumn. Going to grab Autumn here. I'm going to borrow the primary pose because OmniReference only allows one image. So we're just going to use the primary pose image. If we use the character sheet, the full turnaround here, then there's a good chance that 4 versions of her will show up inside of the image, and the words Autumn Starlight will show up somewhere too. So instead, we will just use the primary pose. And now we will switch on over to the Midjourney instance we have here. And I will now paste Autumn into there and shift her over to character reference here. This should give us, now remember, we're using version 6.1 to do this. So we do not have the ability to just instantly generate the back or side of this character. We may want to, instead of using a face front version of her, use a profile shot of her. So right now the character reference for version 6.1 really relies on you having a full turnaround of the character to direct your character properly. OmniReference does not have this limitation, so we're still waiting on inpainting to come for OmniReferencing. But because we're wanting a character to approach a Fungal Mancer here, let's actually grab from the character portal the profile version of Autumn here. So I just have to copy one of these links and check them out. 1, 2, 3, poop. Let's see. Yep, there we go. We have a profile of the character with this link here. So let's go ahead and use this one instead. We'll paste that into there. Shift this over to character reference. Get rid of our face front here. We could combine them, but let's go ahead and just do the profile here. And then we're going to say that this is a witch we'll call her an orange witch. An orange witch with a black hat. But a black witch hat. Okay? And the character weight's set to 100. We might want to drop that to something like 80 in order for it to merge a little better into the art style that we have. But the style reference is already going to do a lot of that anyway. So that's my trick is I drop the character weight about 20 points in order to merge our art styles a bit more cleanly. But now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit submit on this. And another kind of quirk that you guys will notice, unless you're using RAW, you will oftentimes get some framing or blurring or fraying on the edge of your image. In order to get rid of the making a second panel or anything like that in the image, just roughen up the edges like this. Just give it a little bit of room to allow for it to blend over, because there might be a very subtle border on your image that you don't even see. So also my cat, who is 21 years old, is screaming at the door. So I'm going to hit submit on this, and then I'm going to give her a little bit of food. I'll be right back. Sorry. It's the only way to get her quiet. I'll be right back.
This is the correct time to remind everybody. I'm just going to go big here for a second.
Go big or go home.
Yeah. I just want to remind everybody. Kinky told you about prompt battles, and you should go there. 100%. Do it. It's fun. And if you want, you can prompt all day screaming cats. That's fine. Might even get a few points more because people just love cats.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm. So
do it.
Yeah. Do you know what the picture I posted is of?
Just posted what? No.
I posted a picture in the chat. Do you know who it is? Well, I posted like
I
6
don't
pictures
know.
in the chat.
The face is familiar, but I don't know who it is.
Yes, it is familiar to most people.
Let's see.
But nobody knows who they are.
Who is it? Let's see. Ah, it's Screaming Cat. Oh, DB Cooper? Is that DB Cooper?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I made DB Cooper from the only known image of DB Cooper using Midjourney. I've been making police sketch artist photos into real people.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm always curious, like, how people can use line art and then flesh out that line art. But that's the one thing I haven't had time to experiment with, is just how to get Midjourney to finish your line art and see how you can incorporate line art with omni referencing. So if I'm going to give you guys some homework, I would love for you guys to take a 2D black and white illustration of some sort, just raw line art, and try to see if omni-referencing can be used to fill in the color gap, like the colors of that line weight. I imagine that with a higher weight, you guys might actually be able to do it. I just haven't experimented with it myself. Okay, all right. Now that my 21-year-old cat is satisfied, and you guys can stop memeing with screaming cats, I wanted to show you guys this. So we did our in-paint with a character reference of Autumn, and you could see we got a generic kind of witch character. There's a couple of things that we have to take into account, which is the fact that we use the slightly lower character weight with version 6.1 in order to retain, in order to merge these art styles a bit, but it screwed up the colors of things. And in my tutorial that I'll be getting into for omni-referencing, I'll be posting it on the Gnarly Studios server sometime this weekend. I get into how to compartmentalize this stuff so that you're not having to just constantly make these little corrections. In fact, it's cheaper to reroll, and it's easier to get results faster with rerolling, and it's even cheaper to do color correction. So we can't do color correction in Midjourney, and I'm not going to get into all that stuff with Photoshop. We're not opening up Photoshop today. But I will be showing you guys how to make these corrections. So for example, we see that she has orange sleeves and is wearing black, so we need to just in-paint where it's wrong. Let's try to do this. Let's just get all the orange that's here, and then we will describe her as orange sleeve witch, an orange sleeve with a black witch hat. Let's say that she is wearing orange long sleeves. The sigh of the sigh of relief from those 5 people that leave when Photoshop is mentioned. Right? Yeah, I always get a drop in audiences, and now, granted, they probably already left because we're at 53 instead of the 69 we were earlier. But like, what I'm gonna do here though is now that we have her in the scene, and we're happy with the quality of her in this moment. At least I am happy with this. I'm gonna bump this up to just 95 on the character weight. And we're going to see if we're able to fix the, just by making a correction to the prompt here. And then I'm going to hit submit on this. But there's a very important thing that I wanted to show you guys with this process, which is how we're going to finish the comic here. Now I expect the result that we're going to get off of this is going to be correct in terms of matching the character design. But what we want to do is we want to continue this moment. We want to use omni-referencing to actually try to build a moment, build a scene, and direct these 2 characters in real time using Midjourney's new omni-referencing. So these are almost done here. Let's see, just a second. They will click into place, I think, as soon as they're ready. And boop, yep, okay. And yes, now she has the black hat and the orange sleeves. There you go. Okay, perfect. There she is. So now the only thing that we have to do, we have this result. Let's go ahead and use this with version 7, okay? So we will pop ourselves to version 7. We will now set this image as the Omni reference. I'm going to set that Omni reference to, I have it set to 250. That's fine. That's what I use for the rest of the comic here. And then I'm going to describe this scene the same way that I described it for the other comic here. So let's see here. Where is that? Right here. So I said, I changed the prompt from describing the character as we had earlier to a 2-shot profile view of a girl in a frog poncho slowly approaching the giant sloth. So obviously we got to get rid of frog poncho, and we'll say that she is a witch, just a witch, slowly approaches the giant sloth. And I have a style reference that I need to make sure that is also attached, which is the very first image of the story that we're telling, just to set the environment and the style of the world to always be the same with the results. We want to make sure that that style reference is in there. So with these 2 combined, we should be able to now just hit send on this and then take a look at the results that we get. I'm not using any profiles. I'm not using any mood boards. I am relying entirely on style referencing to hold the world together. Depending on the world that you're building, you may or may not. Basically, your mileage may vary when it comes to that. Because if you're doing like complex world architecture and stuff, it can get a little bit messy with this. I find it works really well with version 6.1 to use mood boards for that, like to establish an aesthetic. But like, for example, if you wanted to do like some Art Deco environment, right, then it probably makes more sense to have an Art Deco mood board than it does necessarily to just use a style reference, especially if unless you're very, very specific on the kind of image you're building here. But let's take a look at what we got here. It's at 55% or so, and you can see what it's doing. It is applying a lot of the context of what we asked for, but it's also missing some elements here, turning Fungimancer into a bear at points, so we may need to reinforce the sloth even more. The redundancy element of version 7 is super important. So if something's showing up and it's repetitive, you're seeing in all the results, you either got to lower some values or you're going to be redundant. Like we have to describe the mushrooms on the back of the sloth, that kind of thing. So we're almost done here. Overref does take a little bit more compute to kind of figure things out. So let's just let it finish here. And we should be able to then continue this moment with basically this is now panel, technically panel 3, but we can call it panel 1 for this little interaction between Autumn and Fungimancer. And now this is panel 2. So we now have the scene flipped, and if you can actually see Fungi Mancer's paws and claws showing up through here. This is awesome. This is a great shot here. All of it's being represented. We could always slightly in-paint faces, but you notice that his pose is largely the same. And I took advantage of that for the comic because I wanted Fungi Mancer to basically be basking in the sun. And so you can see that out of these results that we got, he's a bear in this one. He's a bear again, but he's also in the background here. And then we'd actually preserve the mushrooms on his back with this one. So if we want to take this, we really want to see what extremes happen when we change the omni-reference weight of this. So if I go back to the prompt here, or I hit use, okay, let's switch the omni-reference lower. Let's go for something like 125, so half the value that we had before. And if I do that, it'll not change anything if I switch this bar. I was wondering why nothing was changing for me, and it was because I already have omni-weight written up here. Eventually this will change that stuff, but for now we just write it up here. So I'm going to go 125 and then hit submit on this. Oh, what's happening here? Oh, I hit 225, my bad. So we're going to hit 125. Whoop. There you go. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to show you guys that the lower the weight is of this scene, the less it's going to be strict about copying what's in your Omni reference. So right now we have 2 Fungalmancer kind of looking characters where the Fungalmancer character is hanging out in the background. The lower the weight is for this, the less likely that's going to happen, but it's also going to hallucinate more things. So what I'm going to recommend from here is we go for hold on a second here. We're going to take a look at the results here, and then we got to keep writing, because the lower your Omni reference is, the more you have to write to compensate for what's either missing or changing in the shot. So if I wanted, say, Fungalmancer to smack Autumn, right, to give a big swipe of the paw in order at her, I would probably need to go for a lower weight and really overly describe what's happening to her and in the environment. Like she slams to the ground and mushrooms jump in the air or whatever, or mushrooms are blown in the air, that kind of thing. But it is one of those things where I tend to experiment with doing little changes first and then see how far I can get just off of changing one parameter, which in this case is Omniway. So let's see, we're at 80% now. We're almost done. You could see what it's doing though. It's going to be doing some really cool stuff for what we want it, but it's preserving Fungalmancer throughout all this. So I think we could just add more direction to this and it will do a pretty solid job. So let's see, we're almost done here. And done. Okay. So you could see here, we got a little bit of a bend in the face here. We got, again, that duplication's happening here. But this is super exciting because it's like we can now in-paint direction for her if we wanted to be slightly different than we had before. But let's actually try to get omni-referencing to do it for us. So let's use on here. And then say 2-shot profile view of a girl slowly approaching the giant sloth. Let's change that up. Let's do a 2-shot. She is, instead of getting Spectre, let's be a little nice to her. Let's do she is being hugged by a giant sloth because we noticed that there was mushrooms missing from his back, right? So with moss and mushrooms on its back, on the giant sloth's back. Again, be redundant. It's okay. No one's going to be grading your English here. 2-shot, she's
also
being...
Force yourself.
What, sorry?
Also, don't force yourself to put everything into one sentence. It's often more advantageous to just make 2 sentences out of it and reference the sloth again with a description.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, it's I got a D minus, and now it's an A. Yes. Snoopy's right about that one. So let's take a look at what we got just by slightly changing the prompt. I am going to also take Rhapsody's suggestion of making these just 2 sentences. Moss and mushrooms are on the giant sloth's back. Oh my god, they're actually hugging. This is so exciting, guys. I don't think you understand how exciting it is to have character interaction based on word prompts alone. It is so hard to get characters to do everything from, hand-to-hand combat to just having a loving moment with each other. You could easily get characters to kiss just by prompting them next to each other, but this is insane. This is insane. Like, come on. Like, look, they're sitting next to each other, just having a great time. Like, come on, guys. This is for me. Okay, I cannot get over this.
That's just the next panel.
This is just the next panel. This is the next moment. Like, this is mind-blowing for me. And look, he's coming in for the hug. And you have to just in-paint little corrections and things like that. It is so much more easier to do things than it was before. The fact that we can get characters to interact like this is just so huge. And, like, you can even do this. Look, watch this. Like, and this is, by the way, this is the where we overemphasized, or we were a bit redundant about the mushrooms on the back, right? It is putting more emphasis on the mushrooms. We can see that all the 4 results are giving us these like a little more mushrooms, just more mushrooms in there. But if we now say that she is a 2-shot of she is riding. I didn't even get into this today because I told Rhapsody that if Overrep comes out, we're all gonna make mounts for each other. But I think we're gonna save that for the next stream. Where we are all going to be writing really cool stuff from Skeletal Dragons. We have one rule for next week when we do the OVREFs. We do another OVREF strip. We have one rule.
Just
what?
Wait for next week.
Okay, fine. I'll wait for next week. All right, I'll wait for next week. Fine.
It's a secret. If you want to know more, you need to join our server. Yeah,
there you go.
Show off the
There you go. Yes, exactly. But look at this with the hugging. It is just, but I think because of the emphasis on mushrooms, right? We got a little less direction happening with the hug, right? So it's just this is just insane. I love this. But now we get to say that she is riding a giant sloth with mushrooms on the giant. Oh yeah, let's get rid of some of that redundancy here. She is riding the giant sloth with moss and mushrooms on her back. I just want to see what this does. Again, everything comes down to the weight that you set the Omni reference to. You can do just about anything you want now. I mean, it's kind of funny that like Omni is being used specifically because this is kind of like God mode. You turned on God mode for Midjourney. We've always been stuck in constraints of like, here's one image, here's another image, and just kind of make them stand next to each other. And we'll in-paint we'll have all sorts of workflows to get characters to do things with each other. We don't need that anymore. We can just tippy-tap our way to success. Look at this. Look what it's doing. Hold on. Mm-hmm. It's getting there. And look at that. Even if it's blurry, I don't care. This is just insane. Yeah. This is just...
This is so good. Now, granted, we cannot really control the style at the moment because the styles are still worked on. But imagine this in a few weeks when we have the style control and the mood boards again that work properly. This will get better than it's now.
Thanks for coming, Clarinet, and we really appreciate all of our mods here for knocking it out of the park, for taking care of everybody, especially when things are like kind of, anytime there's updates, anytime there's changes, there's always going to be bugs and things that have to get squished. So thank you guys so much for kind of handling everyone's requests and frustrations and stuff.
Also, Clarinet is kind of handling a lot of the learning resources and tutorials and stuff that you find here on the server. So if you ever used anything like that, I would say just answer her message there and type thank you.
Right. You definitely thank Clarinet. She deserves it. So at this point,
I'm just gonna start.
Yeah, you get it going, but look at this! Oh my god! Like just being able to take two characters that are not interacting with each other at all and just be like, yep, this is what I want. This is exactly what I want. Is it just getting it represented like this is just mind blowing to me, guys. And even though I wanted to basically put the punchline for the comic here, I think rather than spoiling that, join our server and you'll get a ping whenever we release the comic. We'll probably release it on Reddit just to get some attention to it, but I am so excited to see our fantasy world come to life now with omnireferencing. So and we have so
locations.
many we got locations,
we got characters, we got items. It's
Yeah, if you go to, I'm going to put a website for you guys inside of text chat here, which is comic.spellbroke.com. This is the first series that we are producing for the. Let's see here. How am I gonna pop this open here? I have to turn on something here. OREF room. There we go. And we'll also zoom through all the OREF stuff here too. But OREF room. Where is that now? Hold on a second. Sorry, guys. There it is. Okay. So inside of here, I wanted to show you guys that if you go to spellbroke.com, you'll find our first teaser comic as well as the workflow for version 6.1. Almost everything written here is specialized towards making it with mood boards and whatnot, but you could do so much of this stuff just by typing now with omnireferencing. So check out the series here. This is just a little teaser of it, but we will add the omnireference tutorial to this website as well. So I am so excited to see our fantasy world come to life now. And eventually we'll make a full 30-minute series out of it, like a pilot. That's my goal, is to make a pilot that I can show off to my old industry people and be like, haha, look what we're doing now.
yeah, we're doing this.
Yeah, it's going to be so much fun. So definitely check that out, guys. Join the Gnarly Studios server, and we have everything going up on YouTube here, probably before the weekend's over. But otherwise, we have the show after the show, and that'll let you guys hop on stage here. Let's take a quick look at what is left inside the room here. Oh my god, you guys are having VO Ride Junk Tour. Oh my god. Hold on a second. This is almost done here. We also have comics being posted here from Reveille. Oh my god, we really should just show this stuff off really quick. So let's do that. Boop. But that's not what I wanted to show. Just a second. Let me go find that. There it is. We have a comic here from Reveille. Oh my god. Look at this. Look at this. All the butterflies flying around. Okay, what does it say here, though? It better be safe for work. But you rang? Yahoo! I know you're here. Fine, I'll go. But I won't come next time you call. Oh my god. And it's consistent. It's totally believable what's going on here. This is just amazing. Great job, Reveille. Yeah, this is look at Theo writing Junk Tour. This is so good. It's so good. Can't get enough of this. It's just too much fun to see what you guys are doing. But this is a hint. This is a hint at what we're doing next week. So okay, that's it for us today, guys. Thank you so much for joining the OmniReference big party here today, and we also are just so excited to see 2,000 people now all in one place making stories together, making comics, making videos, doing whatever we want to do. Please join it, and I will leave it at that. I mean, look at all this cool stuff. We'll be sure to share the actual stories here too, so that you guys can check it out. So awesome.
Oh no, I need to change this.
You need to get a there you go. Show after the show. Okay, guys. All right. I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thank you all so much. Thank you again to Kinky and Ancient for making this happen. And thank you so much to Rhapsody for co-hosting me. You saved my voice today. So thank you so much, and showing us all the cool stuff.
I have also to say, I mean, it's for one person, all this V7 stuff coming out, and the just limitless possibilities we have at OREF. It's too much to research for one person in a day. So I'm happy to help.
Yeah, it's amazing. Thank you so much. And I will leave it there, guys. Thank you, and have a wonderful weekend.
Yeah, have an amazing time. See you in the show after the show.
Later, guys.